Got so much weight on my shoulders. Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns. You got a glimpse, and you can't resist, luring you in closer. Guess I got a jinx. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. Got so much I need to cover. All the lies I lied, been with me for too long. Got a chance to start over. Disguise the man I was, correct what I did wrong. You got a glimpse, and you can't resist, luring you in closer. I guess I got a jinx. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. So I'm stuck in the moment, I'm sitting back and I'm still hoping. Lord got my eyes really open where I'm still getting to the bat with chit chat. Got my hat back and I backtrack. My wilderness taught me 3 things. You gotta be original, drunk night, subliminal movements, be pivotal. Never really cry for pain, main. So I stunt like baby and I work like Wayne. Now let's pursue the children of the game. Yep, I'm just a kid living on a dream. What's the hate on that? I know I shouldn't interact with the 151 Bacardi rum and the Kush still craving some. It's like I'm criminal minded like KRS-One where we first started. I'm the only artist and do this shit regardless. To bounce, we bounce to this, searching for the lifestyle, ignorant bliss. We rock stars with a brainless bitch. If you wanna party, then let's go. Got the best throw, concentration low. We cruising, windows down, playing Joe and a bit of J. Cole. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. We gon' lay low. Yep.
I don't know what this future's holding. That's why I live it, rolling like it's golden. My destiny, I hold it. I'm stuck in the moment. I'm stuck in the moment. It's true, yeah.
This ain't Lupe, so it don't really matter. It's a good die young and the hoes get fatter. I disregard females who look for sex around town. Man, I'm living faster than I would in my 20s. Damn, I gotta slow down. Nah, don't throw down business plans just to win this crowd. Yep, I'm still rocking a snapback, fresh kicks, hot top sweatshirts. But they don't understand me like my pops when he had his face straight in the dirt. Gotta love this new generation little kids, cause I push the gap, I do my thing. I always stay humble, but I never really try to react to fucking hate like that. But life is funny like that. Got love from Mary Jane, like Peter Parker do. But if you fuck with me, you won't care what I've been through. Still got love for Miami Heat, although they on that losing streak. But I stay blessed and I stay winning. On another planet, my head is spinning. Yep.
I don't know what this future's holding. That's why I live it, rolling like it's golden. My destiny, I hold it. I'm stuck in the moment. I'm stuck in the moment. It's true, yeah.
Never really, literally, don't waste what you got, only living it once. My life's a movie with numerous puns, and I know, man, these hoes are boring to conversate with. I just want all of y'all on my goddamn dick. This could be some weak, but it's this beat that's making it amazing. But I love this champagne pop with a little in the middle, and I never stop. Astronaut speed, try fly to the top. I go out and forget to text my moms, man. I just wanna go to Vegas and see the palms. Right now, this is just me rapping on some fucking stupid other shit. Damn, still dreaming about successes if I'm sleeping.
I just wanna feel good. I wanna feel special. Dig down underneath the pressure.
이제 가장 가고 싶은 조 D조 이경민 선수.
저그를 뽑아야 될 것 같아요. 혹시 저랑 붙고 싶은 저그 있나요?
저그.
딱히 이유는 없고 경민이 형이랑 하면 재밌을 것 같아.
1경기는 먹고 가는 거니까 예, 뭐 저는 괜찮아요.
마지막에 민철이한테 한번 듣고 싶네요.
김민철.
아 근데 자기는 뭐 당연히 안 뽑을 줄 알고 되게 자만하는 표정이 되게 마음에 안 드네요.
아니 근데 그게 아니라 별로 붙고 싶지 않아요. 저는 명경기 펼치고 싶단 말이에요.
누군가 이혜훈인가요? 와 뽑았어요.
이네요.
네.
저희들만의 좀 소소한 이상록을 하고 싶어서
저는 이제 24강에서 실제로 이상록을 경험을 하고 올라왔거든요.
네.
경기력을 맞출 수 있을까 걱정이 되는데 자신 있지 않나.
오.
제 4회 종족인 선수를 뽑을 거예요. 그 선수한테 선택권을 주는 거죠.
예은이 형이 확실히 요새 경기력이 올라오긴 한 것 같아요.
네.
자신감이 있네요. 예.
네.
제가 그 승자전 가서 테란전이 하고 싶어서 그런 거기 때문에 영호가 누군가를 이기고 올라오겠죠?
정말 데려가는데요?
이재호를 등을 돌리고 있고
진짜네요. 우와.
데려갔어요.
16강부터 다 던져더라고요. 그래서
네.
진짜 자신 있거든요. 누구랑 하든지 간에 자신 있게 게임 하도록 하겠습니다.
그냥 알아서 오면 될 것 같은데.
네 알아서 김성대. 김성대 와.
원격으로 배송을 시켰어요.
네.
분입대 앞두고 있어도 너무 잘하는 선수기 때문에 또 이제 영호랑 빅매치 한번 해야죠. 가기 전에 팬분들이.
야, 그래서 만들어준 거예요.
영호랑 3판 2선으로 한번 해보고 싶긴 했는데 그건 좀 아쉽네요.
김민철!
우와.
근데 진짜 멤버 보니까 좀 어질어질하네요. 일단 막상 보니까 되게 어처구니가 없어서 보다 보니까.
Today's matchup. Horangi, Saxony, Flash, Solki, AfreecaTV ASL Season 8, Round of 16, Group D.
Hello guys, welcome to ASL Season 8 and today we are at the last day of the round of 16 and so far we've got to see some amazing matches from the players and I feel like today's not going to be any different. So we will see who catches the last 2 trains to the round of 8. And before the match we're going to have an interview with the 4 players. And they are Solki, Flash, Saxtry,
자, 먼저
and
디저의
Horangi.
시드자 이경민 선수와 좀
And first
얘기를
up
나눠보겠습니다.
is Horangi.
네.
이 지금껏 이 시드자
And
중에
Horangi
이런
in the group
수고를
nomination,
당할
you were
선수가
looked down
있었나
upon
싶을 정도로
by the
조진영
players,
측에서
and everyone
정말
wanted to
많은
go into Group
선수들이
D.
이경민 선수를
So have you made
원했습니다.
full preparation
이런 것들을
ahead of
극복하고
today's
8강에
match in order to
진출한다면
qualify
본인에게는 더
for the round
남다른
of
의미가
8?
있을 것 같은데 어떻게 오늘 자신 있으신가요?
What do you think?
원래는 근데 여기 대회장 오기 전에
Well, before coming here,
좀 자신이 있었거든요.
I've had the
근데 좀
confidence.
대회장 왔는데 오늘
But
좀
after I came
세팅이
here,
좀 마음에 안
You
들더라고요.
know, I didn't really like the
그게 좀
settings,
걱정이 되긴 해요.
and so I'm kind of worried right now.
세팅이 오늘 뭔가 뜻대로 잘 안
Oh,
되나요?
you said the settings are
저는 뭔가
different?
잘 안 풀리고 있는데 옆에 그 민철이 보니까
Well, I watched Solki,
1분 풀다가 그냥
and
자기
Solki just warmed up for 1 minute and he just left the seat.
그것 때문에 더 속상했던 것
So
같아요.
I'm really sad right now.
아, 세팅부터 이 선수들 사이에 이 신경전이 좀 오고
So you can
간
tell
것
that,
같은데 자,
his
다음으로
setting didn't
인사
go all that
나눠볼
well.
선수는 이예훈 선수입니다.
And next
안녕하세요.
one is Saxtry. Hello, Saxtry.
만약 오늘 이예훈
So
선수가
Saxtry,
8강에
if you
진출하게
can break through
된다면
this group,
스타원에서 또
you'll be able to
첫
achieve your
8강에
first
진출하는
round of 8
셈이에요.
in StarCraft 1.
오늘 긴장도 되고 좀 설레기도
How are
할 것
you feeling
같은데
ahead of today's
컨디션
match?
제가 그 24강 때도
Well, in the round of
감기가
24,
걸려가지고
I got cold. I had a cold.
잘한다고 얘기를 했었는데
And
아직도
then
감기가 안 나왔거든요.
Right now,
아,
I'm still
승리의
feeling
감기가
sick
오늘까지
from the cold.
이어지고 있군요.
예, 그래서 오늘도 좀 컨디션은 안 좋지만
So although
게임은
my
잘
condition's
될 것
not all that good, I think I
또
can play good.
소소하게 오늘 첫 경기 리쌍록을 치르고 싶다고 이경민 선수가 얘기를 했잖아요. 첫 경기 좀 많이 준비해 오셨나요?
Have you prepared well,
일단
Horangi?
저는 다른 의미로 저그전만 연습했거든요.
I've practiced
근데 제가
the Zerg matchup the most.
영어 연습 도와준 그 박상현 선수 들어보니까 영어도 저그전만 한다고
But
하더라고요.
apparently
네.
Flash was preparing for her Zerg matchup as well.
약간 좀 각자 좀 다른 의미로 좀 저그전만 한 것
So I
같아요.
think we've
예.
all both been preparing that Zerg
자,
matchup
여기
really
계신
hard.
많은 분들이 그 다른 의미를 아마 잘 알고 있지 않을까 하는 생각이 드는데 이영호 선수와도 좀 인사를
And let's talk with Flash now.
나눠보겠습니다. 이영호 선수는 워낙 ASL 16강에서 떨어진
And
기억이
Flash, you've
없어서
probably never been
오늘
eliminated in the
마음 편하게 좀
round of
경기장에 오셨을
16.
것 같아요.
So I guess you're feeling pretty comfortable here.
예, 근데
Yeah, that's
제가
right.
항상 이렇게 진짜 예상치 못할 때 진짜 한 번씩 1년에
But
진짜 한 번씩
like
떨어졌거든요.
네.
Once in a lifetime, you know, there's that moment when I slip. So I hope today's not the day.
좀안 좋아서 그 격정인데
So my wrist is not feeling that well.
해야 할 것 같아요.
So I'm gonna have to focus
자,
a
이영호
lot.
선수도 좀 남다른 각오로 오늘 경기장에
I
왔습니다.
guess Flash is really
이
determined
선수의
today.
각오도 역시 궁금한데 김민철 선수
And
한번 마이크
Solki.
잡아주시고요. 자, 이제 정말 마지막 순간이
So
다가오고
okay,
있는
your
김민철 선수.
final moment is approaching.
자, 각조에서 3위로
And all the
아쉽게
third places
8강에 진출하지
in the respective
못한
groups
선수들이 아마
are
오늘
probably
김민철
praying
선수를 향해
for your strong
뜨거운
performance
응원을
today.
보내주지 않을까 하는 생각이 드는데 김민철 선수는 각오가
So
어떠신가요?
how are you feeling ahead of today's match?
마음이 좀 많이 편한 것 같아요.
Well,
그래서
I feel quite
누구보다도
comfortable.
더 편할 수가
I
있나
feel
이
ease in
생각도 좀
mind.
들긴 하는데 오늘 그리고 그 어느 특정 선수 몇 명이 좀
And
많이 응원을 하고 계실 텐데
There are a couple of players rooting for
안
me.
하고 그냥 편하게 보는 게 좋을 것
So
같아요.
I think they should
뭐 준비는
feel
열심히
comfortable
해오긴
watching my
했지만
performance.
네.
저 역시 테란전만 좀 준비를
Although
많이
I've
했거든요.
made solo preparation, I've
편하게 보는 걸 좀 추천합니다.
practiced the
많은
ZVT the most.
선수들이 특정 종족점만 좀 오늘
And I
철저하게
guess all the
준비를
players
해오신
here
것
have
같은데
practiced for
일본 세팅의
specific
의미가 좀 어떤 건지
matchups.
여쭤봐도 될까요? 오늘 세팅이 뜻대로 잘 된 건가요?
How's your setting today?
저는
So
원래
okay.
이렇게 세팅 오래 하는 편이 아니라서
Well, I tend to not
원래
focus
네.
too much on setting.
원래 이제 짧게 하는 편인데
I just do it short.
좀더 짧게 했어요.
But today was
자,
especially
과연
short
팬분들은
for
이
me.
네 명의 선수들에게 어떤 것들이
And I guess
궁금하셨을지
it's
좀
time
여쭤보겠습니다.
for the fans'
먼저 이경민
questions.
선수
First up,
조준영
Horangi.
식 때 이영호 선수가 D조에
In the group
올 거라는 건
nomination,
많은
it was
분들이 좀
certain that Flash was
기정사실화
going to go into Group
그래서
D.
알고 계셨던 내용이지만 이렇게까지
But you
죽음의
probably
조가
didn't
완성될
anticipate the
거라고는
group
이경민
to
선수
become
좀
so
예상을 못하셨을
deadly.
것 같아요.
So how did you
일단
feel
그
after the group?
상상만 했을 때랑 그다음에 현실로
You know,
다가갔을 때그 공포
imagination
차이가 좀
and
심하더라고요.
reality
어느
was
순간
definitely different. When I
이영호가
faced
있고,
reality,
그다음 김민철도
I had
있고,
Flash,
예은이도 있고
I had Sulky,
이러니까
I had Sexry in my
좀
group.
솔직히 좀 정말 좀 힘들겠다 이런
So I
생각
was
좀 자주
feeling
했어요.
really
이경민
depressed.
선수 오늘따라 좀 위축된 듯한 모습이 보이는데 과연 이게 오늘 준비해온 좀 페이크 전략이 아닐까 하는
So I guess
기대감도
you
좀
have to play
걸어보도록
really well
하겠습니다.
today,
이영호
Horangi.
선수 마이크 잡아주시고요.
And next up is Sexry.
이영호 선수와 오프라인
And Sexry, currently your win record against Flash in an offline tournament is
하는 질문이
100%.
올라왔어요. 이영호 선수의 생각은 어떠신가요?
So are things looking very favorable today?
그는 말이 안 되는 거고.
Well, I think this is kind of
그날-
absurd.
그날은 제가 아니었어요.
That day, I was
그럼 누구였죠?
overperforming hardcore.
그날 약간 뭔가 신이
It felt like I was being possessed
그래가지고
by God.
오늘도 제가 아니길 바라고.
So I hope today I'm possessed as well.
그 영호한테 승률이 앞서는 선수가 아마 거의 없을 거예요.
And I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy who has a higher win rate against Flash.
앞서고 싶거든요.
So I just want to keep this momentum going.
열심히 했기 때문에
But I made good preparation,
이겨보도록
so I'll
하겠습니다.
try to beat
이영호
him today.
선수가 조지명식에서 인정한 이혜훈 선수의 자신감이거든요. 또 오늘 어떤 경기를
And Flash
보여줄지 좀
has
기대하도록
commended you for your
하겠고요. 자, 이영호
confidence.
선수 또 질문 드리겠습니다.
And Flash.
오늘 첫 경기가 군입대를 앞두고 있는 김민철 선수네요.
And your today's match, first match is up against Sulky, who's waiting for his military service. What do you have to say to
질문이
him?
들어왔습니다.
오늘 첫 경기
Well, the first
쉽지
match
않지만
is not going to be an easy one for sure.
쉽지 않지만 결과는
But-
나의 승리일 것
but you
같다라고
think you're gonna
대답을
win.
해주셨고요. 자,
Okay.
그럼 김민철 선수 마지막으로 좀
And Sulky,
여쭤볼게요.
last
만약
question for
오늘
you.
경기 이후에도 모든
If
일정을
you
치를 수
can
있다면
play further
8강에서
matches,
좀 만나고 싶은 선수가
who do you
있었을까요?
want to play against in round of 8?
만약에 8강 선수들은 다
If you
확정이
could
된
play more
상태잖아요.
matches.
예, 근데 제가 누가 올라갔는지를 모르겠네요.
Well, I don't really know who went
네.
up.
그래서 만약에 붙게 되면은
So if I
테란전 하는 게
if I
저는
can
좋긴
play
해요.
more matches, I want to play
조기석
ZBT.
선수나 이재호 선수
So you're saying like
가면 또
Sharp,
영호 만나고 싶어요.
Light, and Flash.
같은 조에 있기 때문에 만약에 8강을 칠 수 있다 하더라도
So you
또
say
만날
if you
수도
can
없지만
play round of 8,
이영호 선수의 오늘
you wanna go up
경기
against
후회
Flash
없이
again.
좀 치르시길 바라겠습니다.
I hope you can play
자, 오늘
the
네 분의
game
선수
without
인터뷰 모두
regrets today.
감사드리고요. 멋진 경기
And
기대하겠습니다.
that's the end of the interview.
Thanks as always, Andy. Excellent work. Yeah, guys, we're going to be hopping into this match. These matches in just a little bit here. Again, Flash expected to move on, but we've got a lot of great players in this group. Of course, Sulky is going to be doing his obligatory military service soon. So if he advances, we're going to have another round where we bring 3 players back in and have another little round robin there.
Yeah, that's right. And that'll take place tomorrow night if it occurs, but only on the Korean stream. So if that does occur, which there's a decent chance that it will, you'll have to check that out over there. But anyways, it's an exciting group and it's an exciting day because we are going to draw the round of 8 bracket at the end as well. So you kind of get to see what Flash's path to the finals is going to be. Woo!
That's right.
Can't
so
wait.
when we wrap these games up, do not turn the stream off yet. If you stick with us, you will see exactly what the round of 8 is going to look like.
Yeah. It's an exciting group, though. I think that Horangi is undervalued and underestimated.
And he's been performing pretty well lately.
Yeah. And Saxry's in great shape. Obviously, Sulky's the best Zerg in the world until 2 days from now when he goes to the military and we take him off the list.
I'm curious how exactly he's going to play and what strats he's going to use because this is his final hurrah, at least for a little bit under 2 years. So, I mean, does that mean he wants to play a long, dramatic game? Does that mean he doesn't care he'll cheese? I don't know because definitely a different psychology going into this than the rest of the players in the tournament.
Yeah. It feels like he can play without regrets today and just kind of let loose. So even if he wasn't preparing well for it, the kind of lack of pressure, because it literally doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I feel like he should play very well today.
I would imagine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's cool as a cucumber as well.
Yeah.
He's not
No,
like
he
some
really
of
is.
other players
You're right.
like Mini, where he's emotional and sometimes he plays like the best player in the world, and other times he totally flops out.
Now, Rush, Larva, and Best are all hoping to God that Sulky gets out of this group because then they get that second shot.
Oh yeah,
which is huge. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see how this group ends up going because it affects the seeding so dramatically. Like, who Flash will end up playing against. Like, does he get first? Does he get second in this group? Does he?
Right.
You know, is there some possibility that he has to go to that tiebreaker match if Sulky ends up?
That would be
beating him?
crazy,
right? There's a big range.
As you can see already, our players in the round of 8: Last Action, Rain, and in second place, moving forward, Sharp, Light, and Snow.
Such a strong set of players. I can't wait to see how these players match up against each other.
And so, so here is the votes for the other players that were not in this group. They got to vote on who they thought would advance first. I guess you guys could probably bet that number is red. All players voting for Flash to advance first, 8 players voting for Sulky to advance second, and the other 4 players voting for Saxery to advance.
Yeah.
Nobody voted for Harangi to get out at all. I'm actually a little bit surprised by that. I thought he'd get 1 or 2 votes.
I'm not too surprised. I think he is a bit outclassed in the group. I think it's very, very difficult. I would definitely be... this actually looks exactly like how I feel, where it's like,
yeah,
well, 100% Flash, right? He's just abnormal.
It would be very
compared to
odd if
everyone
he
else.
didn't have 12 votes.
Yeah, like who... No one actually thinks he's ever going to lose anything. Like, that's the level that he plays at. But yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, right? Is what...
Yeah, no, it's one of these things like it's hard. He's never not been favored for over almost a decade now, so it's crazy.
No, the amount of respect that everyone has for him, whether he's active in the league or not, it's like this weird caveat where it's like you try to talk about. I feel bad for Last. Really, that's the person that I feel for. Because he would so easily be called the best Terran in the world if it wasn't for Flash technically plays the race.
Who is so
Terran.
disproportionately the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Best player in any game in the world. It's something else. Again, guys, remember, Sulky will not be finishing out our tournament no matter what. August 1st is his compulsory military service date. That's where it begins. He has to do that for about 18 months. I think depending on what his position was for what he got signed up for. So if he advances here, we'll still have an extra round. If he dies out and does not make it forward, then we are going to have the top 8 cemented here.
So what do you think about this song, Tasteless?
Tasteless does not approve of this one.
You're not a Maroon 5 fan?
No, I'm not.
Ooh. Well,
come at me, Maroon 5 fans.
Well, I don't know how many of us are left, Tasteless, but...
So Harangi, definitely the underdog, at least in the view of all these pro gamers, but I'm always kind of rooting for this guy. He is very charismatic. He seems very comfortable, whether it's in these interviews or just in his games, and I think we've seen him steadily improve. Definitely. But the same can be said here for this guy.
Well, Saxery's been getting so much better lately. He's been doing very well in all the online leagues. He's been doing well offline as well, so... just exciting to see him rise up, and we need players like him rising up right now because every time we have a new best Zerg player in the world, then he goes to the military, right? It happened to Hero, it happened to Effort, it happened to Sulky now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure Jaedong will have a little mini revival and then go to the military, and like, that's just like what we do.
The military
kind of
service
sad actually
in
for
South
that
Korea,
race.
it is a unique problem for a professional gamer. You know, you have to be very active in whatever game you're playing, or you will just get outpaced by these younger guys. Anyways, our best of 1 is ready. It's going to be on tripod. A PVZ. Let's go.
Fight.
Now playing in Tripod.
Oh, no one's going to cheer. Okay. I guess the entire audience is here for Flash, all right?
Yeah, well, Sulky as well, I would say. Right.
Sure.
But yeah, these two.
Just not here for these two.
Their fans did not click the buy ticket button quickly enough.
No. There's in this gladiator match, this is not, where we have the 2 best fighters fight. This is where we fed someone to a lion. And then that match is going to start later.
So, Tripod, we only saw 1 game here so far in this matchup, Mini versus Larva, right?
In this matchup, yeah.
Yeah, and that, it seemed like Mini's build overall was pretty good, but he didn't counter the Lings hard enough. Do you think we're going to see an aggressive Zergling play here from Saxery?
I think we're going to probably see something aggressive. I'd be surprised. I think especially when you have maps like this that are pretty fresh, especially for pro games. there's so much about this map that is going to tempt a Zerg to try to do a quick win. Now, if our Zerg doesn't, that's fine. Cool. I'm really curious to see what the play would be, but especially in the early phases of these maps, since there's so many different things you could try to do to kill a Protoss, and you only got to get one win here, it really does incentivize the Zerg to try something. What that strategy will be, I'm not sure. It should be something to exploit the different entries. But, you know, sometimes you can have situations where the Protoss is so preoccupied with making sure they don't die to a ground rush that maybe like an air all-in works too. You know, you discourage.
Sure,
There's,
okay.
you know, the big balancing act for Protoss is trying to get as little cannons as possible without simply getting run over. And it seems like this is a map where you're either going to have a surplus of zealots or a surplus of cannons.
Yeah.
And both of those can get in the way of teching up as quickly, even though they don't cost gas. You're just spending more of the minerals on that. So let's see what kind of game we're going to have here. For the Protoss on this map, there really isn't like a special rush that you can just open up with. There's not like a 2-gate strategy.
That's the funny thing about this map. It's like you can't proxy racks really. You can't proxy gate.
I
mean, if you
really
do, you're
rush.
just flipping coins. But we might actually see that if this map continues to get a lot of play, because we're always seeing builds like this. It's Nexus first versus Hatch first, right?
Right.
Because everyone knows that it's literally a coin flip if you try to proxy anything, because you just don't know which side they're on. Such a funny map like that. It actually reminds me of what was the name of that map? Alchemist? Remember that 3-player map where it was like very rotational?
Yeah.
This one even more so, but yeah, very wild. We'll see that this is about as greedy as you could ever get in a million billion years. Look at that. Nexus Gateway Forge.
No, this was a build where had the Zerg gone for an incredibly fast pull, the game would have ended. But,
just free win instantly.
I'll tell you what, I think it's smart because Protoss don't like early game rushes so much on this map. This doesn't mean that the Zerg can still do some kind of a rush, by the way. Just because you didn't have Lings kill him right now doesn't mean that rushes are out of the question. But because Zerg didn't do the greediest rush, Protoss gets a little bit of momentum with minerals and probes and zealots. And so maybe the way that Harangui's angling this game can get him into a good position where he's going to be, it's going to be manageable if there is some type of attack here.
Sextry's starting to mine through some of these minerals. There is a possibility that we see him utilize that. I feel like he's mining it out for later on, though. I think that, you know, against this type of wall, like, are you actually going to bust it? No. Come on. I know we saw it busted once already, but that was like,
but that
shouldn't have happened.
That was the Protoss's fault. Not really being fully prepared here. So we've got the one zealot over here for the clog of the entrance that's closest to where the Zerg is. The probe is still scouting around. We want to see if and when that probe is killed off. We do see the layers being made. And we also see that right now Zerg is starting to open up little areas of the map for circulation. You said that might be for later on. I think you're probably right. I don't think there's necessarily going to be something crazy here so far.
No, I don't think so. I have a really important question though, Tasteless, that I can't remember the answer to this.
Yes.
Can you broodling eggs? I don't think so.
I don't think you can.
But they are
I
biological.
You
should be able
a larva
to.
though, right?
You can broodling a larva.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I was just thinking of my super top secret strategy: 3 queens flying and broodling those 3 eggs, and then all the lings run up. What do you do then, Tasteless?
You better leave right away. So we've got the layer. I think it's almost finished now. So we want to watch and see, okay, is it going to be a spire thrown down? It seems like actually pretty modest play so far here from Zerg. There's that additional cannon, which is kind of annoying to get.
Yeah.
Because you're always a little bit insecure about being attacked from the other side, but you just have to have it.
Yeah. And, you know, he went Nexus first, so it doesn't hurt nearly as much as it would otherwise. So that's, you know, I guess something nice about it. The Stargate and Spire, of course, both coming up. Like, I would say as far... Oh, okay, I like it. I like it. So, Corsair Reaver probably going to be our tech of choice from Rangy.
Corsair Reaver can be really good on a lot of these maps where the way to attack the Protoss is pretty indirect. You know, as the game goes on, you could cover these areas pretty well with Reavers. So I think this is a smart strategy. Now, there's two ways to go Corsair Reaver. There's one where you really commit further to Reavers. You might get a second Robo and a second Stargate and keep making Corsairs Reavers. The other one, which I think is a little bit more stable, is to switch back into ground play and get Zealots with legs as you're getting the Corsairs with the Reavers.
Yeah.
And then you tech it at Templars along with it.
Yeah, I generally like that one more as far as power goes. Wow, this is a very quick 5-hatch, by the way. No den or anything. But yeah, I generally like that more for power and stability. But for fun, just stay on Corsair Reaver.
Well, it's also if you're on a map that's pretty congested and has a lot of narrow areas, Mass Corsair Reaver with Disruption Web even later on can actually be quite strong.
Put it in the right hands, it definitely can be.
So we have the Zealots coming out now. Now this is intended to force more Zerglings out, since Reavers just don't struggle against Zerglings at all.
And we'll clean that up actually rather quickly, so nice defense from Saxry so far. Just the fact that he's gone up to 5 hatches this quickly. Look, he is adding more gates actually. But yeah, the speed of those hatcheries, like his macro is going to be out of control this game.
Yeah. This is actually a sort of older build here from the Zerg, but it's still viable, especially on maps like this. So we have the 3 Corsairs coming out. Now we definitely want to watch, as much as this is about the Shuttle and the Reaver, it's also about keeping the Corsair count alive, because if you lose the Corsairs, then the Shuttle is most certainly going to get picked off. You can't hold any position and try to harass and roam freely. And by the way, Zerg scouts with the Scourge and identifies that this is going to be the switch into gateways. Lots of Zealots coming out. Templar tech is going to be inbound inevitably.
Corsairs flying around, getting some very good scouting done, getting some of these Overlords as well. The Scourge all coming back to get him. Now, if he loses these 3 Corsairs, that is really terrible for Harangi.
Okay, now, I think Saxary could have actually
it feels like
he could have better. You know, he could have actually.
I feel like he could have guaranteed some kills. Oh, he's going to guarantee this one. He might actually end up getting all of them, actually. Like, if the mutas go up and to the right, they can catch these Corsairs on the way back. Yeah. Look at that.
Okay, so I was wondering about this when we saw the Scourge come out, is that to go all the way across the map is maybe a little bit too ambitious. By the way, little change in what the actual build is. This is actually one of the rarest techs, but he's actually going to go Corsair Reaver Dragoon.
My God.
Which is intended to win with a timing attack, usually, instead of, I would say, the Zealots with the legs coming out. I think the first time I saw this played out was with Reach. It's actually quite an old build, but basically, if you have enough Corsairs and enough Dragoons, and you get a position outside the Zerg space, there's just not a lot they can do. It's sort of like this weird push where Zerg didn't quite tech up, Zealots won't beat it, Mutas won't beat it, but we already saw a lot of the Corsairs killed off.
Yeah, he killed all the Corsairs in the first Reaver. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not a good position for the Protoss to lose all the units he's making.
No. In fact, this a lot of times zones out the Protoss from really doing much of anything later on in the game. Dragoons are fine units when you have all the rest of the tech for Protoss. To rush into them like this, and again, it's because Dragoons are funny in the way that they do damage. Occasionally, if you just have enough of them, they kind of beat anything. You know, especially because they're like the most microable unit you really have as Protoss.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
you have big numbers of them, you can kind of, even though they're buggy and they don't attack that fast. If you have enough
get
of
any
them,
edge with something you can micro that well,
it
definitely is.
It's kind of like the concept you see where sometimes there's just so many stalkers out, it sort of doesn't matter what the other the other player has.
You can hit these weird timings and critical masses.
Let's see how this attack goes. Now you want to watch the Reaver very carefully here. We should see Scourge Suicide on top of the shuttle. Oh my God! Immediately guns down the Reaver, and so Dragoons alone just never will beat Zerg unless you're so far ahead because the Reaver did so much damage. So I don't know, if Protoss has a way to tech out of this. And a lot of, assuming that this is a loss, a lot of this will come back to losing those Corsairs, losing the Reavers, and just not having a very strong attack.
Now this looks really terribly bad for Harangi. I mean, he's 2 base against 4 right now, and he's just making Dragoons, right? I'm sure he's making some Reavers as well, but I just can't imagine this current 6 hatchery production falling to whatever he's doing with these Dragoons.
Yeah, one other problem is that Zerg has enough bases. When you do this specific build, and again, I'm happy to see that Harangi pulled this out because we don't see it very often, but when you do this specific build, you powered up on 2 bases and you gave up a lot of tech options. I don't think we even have a Citadel still.
I would not be surprised if you're right
considering
about
that
that.
Templar tech is usually the backbone tech in PvZ that Protoss is trying to get to just so they can start to really go on the offense here. I can't imagine Protoss getting a 3rd base. We saw that the Expansions were almost mined out too. I mean, this is just really bad.
Yeah, just seeing the shot of those 6 gateways, I know where his money's mostly going right now, right?
Yeah.
He's making Reavers and 6 gateway Goon. I feel like right now what we're watching is a player that is using coal against an alien civilization. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it's like they have spaceships and this guy has a train with coal in it, and
Right.
I'm like, oh no, this is what you're doing. All your timings are gone. Your tech is wrong. Your macro's not there. This is as bad as it can get.
Yeah, right now, to be honest, it's like the Zerg is the Empire and the Protoss are the Ewoks. They're the Ewoks trying to fight them. So, again, the Scourge will take that out. The Hydras can target down the Reaver. And even though I guess that wasn't even the cleanest fight, despite the best Unbro you could probably ask for there.
Yeah.
The math will never pan out for the Protoss. I mean, Hydras attack faster than Dragoons, guys. And they're cheaper.
And they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
They're half the
And
supply.
they're faster. And yeah.
They make 3 at a time from hatcheries.
By the way, it's not like Harangi doesn't know all this already. He's stuck making Dragoons.
Yes.
It's not like he doesn't understand.
Going into slow
GG.
sellouts is not better.
Right.
So Sack Street smashes Harangi there. A bit of an overcommitment with his 3 Corsairs out in the middle of the map to start when you're going Corsair Reaver.
I want to say I almost feel like the Protoss should have just stayed closer to his base with the Corsairs, try to take out any Overlords near there.
Totally, right?
Because you just have that time to attack.
Get your scout and then back up.
Yeah. Then just get the Reaver out.
Yeah.
Just make the attack work because you're not going to do much else.
Well, that attack would have been fearsome, right? He would have had 2 Reavers instead of 1. And he also would have had enough Corsairs that the Mutas could not have contributed.
Right.
Not
Because then
in
you get
any
up to about
meaningful way.
6 or 7 Mutas. They, 6 or 7 Corsairs. They kill the Mutas. They protect the shuttle.
Yeah.
The Dragoons, as the Reaver shots come in, the Dragoons just allow for a lot of burst damage to come out on that initial army. And you might have had a different game, maybe. Coming up next, a match that should certainly look better. Flash vs. Sulky coming up next.
재미가 없으면 원래 TV가 아니지.
明明係不認得，點解要搞成咁？
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
What'd you do to get in there?
Can Annabelle come out to play?
She got out. She's a beacon for other spirits.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
Full house here tonight, Artosis.
Yeah, of course. The tickets are sold out. It's Sulky's last night.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, it's Flashes here. So between those two things, we know that there aren't many Harangue or Sac Street fans because they did not cheer.
Is he eating chocolate?
Probably. A lot of players
All right.
like to do a little bit of chocolate right before they play.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
A little bit of sugar keeps your brain going or whatever.
Okay.
Yep.
Just buy stock in chocolate right now, Korea. Okay. It's gonna go up a couple points.
Yeah. It should.
I didn't know that. Yep. Like I said, anytime I'd seen anybody eating a snack, I was just like, "That's weird."
I used to do that for tournaments. I used to bring like a little bit of chocolate.
What kind of? Is it dark chocolate or does it matter?
I think that that's probably the one you would want to because the other one is really sugary, but I'm not sure. I stopped doing that. I do bananas now. I'm a
You
banana
do bananas.
boy.
You're a banana guy. When Flash is a chocolate guy.
Yeah. So,
how much of a banana? Like half of one, just one bite,
just
or
however hungry I am, I eat bananas. It's clean, you know.
you just peel it off, or do you cut them up into little?
I eat them with the
bite-sized
skin
bits?
on.
You eat the skin?
Yeah, it's good fiber.
No, you don't. This song is about going to the army, by the way.
Oh, how sadly correct this song is.
Play computer games.
So guys, this is an exciting match. Spread the word. Sulky is a StarCraft 2 champion and a StarCraft 1 champion. He was the best Zerg in StarCraft 2. Right now, he's the best Zerg in StarCraft 1, and he's going to be going to the military. So it's a terrible loss for a couple years.
One of the most accomplished RTS players of all time, multiple genres.
Yeah.
Had more success than Flash did in StarCraft 2.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's had insane success here in StarCraft 1.
This guy literally reverse swept Innovation in a GSL Finals.
So
and Innovation
crazy.
does not lose matches like that.
Yeah,
So it's, I mean, he's truly a monster, and it's just been a pleasure being able to cast him in both games.
And right now, it's going to be a best of one.
Yeah.
So I would imagine the winner, no matter who it is, moves on. And I'll tell you what, Sulky can take a game off Flash.
Oh, absolutely. He's
Yeah.
one of the few that really can fight against Flash. Like, Sulky is probably the best macro Zerg out there.
And on a map like Tripod with these two, I don't know what to expect, but our game is ready. Let's go.
Now playing in Tripod.
So, little story for you guys. Sulky actually wanted to find Flash and face him and get him in the group nominations because he wanted to go out proving to everybody that he could beat the best player in the world.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Going out with a bang. So I really respect that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, that if you can beat Flash, that's it right there. That's what you want. So this map, look, 4-3 in ASL. Flash up 4-3 against Sulky. That's crazy.
Damn. So if Sulky wins here, 4-4. This is going to be a great match. I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. As far as this map goes, I'm really interested to see.
Oh, ooh, getting creative. Whoa!
Damn.
Damn.
That guy's an origami master.
I know.
I need that. Where was that guy when I was in 3rd grade and I needed to know who I was going to marry?
That's right.
You know
Were
what I
you
mean?
into
Those
origami
little,
in 3rd grade?
You know those little paper
crayons?
things?
Paper crayons?
No, no, no. The ones where you fold them like.
Oh yeah, it's like pick a number and you're like 5. Like,
Yeah.
1,
What's
2,
your
3,
favorite
4.
color?
Yeah.
And like.
Yeah, and then it's like
BLUE spells blue, and like, they open the
something
flap.
to your future. They're like, you'll be divorced twice in your life. You're like, oh my god.
It's pretty dark for 3rd grade.
Yeah. Yeah. What are those things called? Those little I don't know what that. There's a word for it. I don't know if kids still do that. That was a big thing though.
No, they make different foldy things.
Did you have Did you have classes where they taught you origami in school?
No.
We had that in 3rd grade. There was like a whole. I think it was just my teacher though.
Huh.
She was just like into it, and so we were
I don't know,
learning. It was
maybe
pretty
they
cool.
taught us how
Actually,
to fold something in art class.
I think there's actually origami for StarCraft stuff.
Oh, of course there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this map, it's a little bit tricky, right? It looks like Sulky's going to do double hatch before pool. That's not surprising whatsoever. We saw Action do that here as well. As far as Flash, it was pretty obvious coming in that he would not be going for a marine-based opener because this map just it wouldn't do anything. Like it would be impossible. You have to go for like a tech build here. But what will he do with his tech build, right? Because the fact that Sulky insta gets 3 bases, that's scary for Terran.
You know what's funny about this map is, as much as it seems like the different points of entry, for instance, having 2 ramps, a base that can point away or towards your opponent, all that stuff. It does seem like a lot of pros want to just take a risk on it and get bases up fast.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're getting to the point with how greedy everyone's been.
Yeah.
It's almost worthwhile now to just flip the coin because 50% of the time you will absolutely win.
Yeah.
It's not even. It's not like 50% you'll get the right side. It's 50% the game's over at this point with how greedy everyone's been. But yeah. So Flash. Did he go insta starport? I believe he may have. We'll have to see that in a minute here.
Nope, drone drill catching that Marine.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the lost drone mining time in StarCraft 1 is actually really bad.
You can see this just ridiculously good micro from both sides.
Right.
Oh my god, just crazy. Oh my god, he got a drone. That's so crazy. Lost mining time plus getting the drone. Now the Vulture coming up.
Oh, and with the Vulture inbound, this sunken colony might not be placed ideally. Okay.
Well,
hold on.
He might be able to kill another drone.
I think the Vulture can actually get up in time. Hold on. Yeah, no, he can get up in time. Look at this. Oh my god, if he gets this Ling.
He needs to drill those drones right now. Oh, he barely didn't do it quickly enough. Oh my god.
Okay,
well, that's a Flash Vulture. Good luck.
Yeah, well, the problem here, guys, is that a Vulture can be microed basically forever if you're good enough at controlling it. It is, as you're seeing here. I mean, Sulky's drone control is basically perfect.
Yeah.
But especially on a map where the main is just this open. Look at this. Okay, actually, Sulky is so good. I got to say, that was literally perfect. After the Vulture got in the main, he did that perfectly.
Now, this is all leading up to a very quick Vulture drop, which is... the thing about this is that it's kind of obvious. We've seen people already trying this on this map as well, like going for Vulture drop to try to abuse the multiple locations that are there, right? So we have to see if Sulky can defend against this correctly, because Flash has already done a good amount of damage, but everything he has is a little bit slow right now.
Right.
So if the Vulture drop doesn't do anything, then Sulky's going to be ahead.
Now, keep in mind, all these times the drones have been interrupted in their mining. Okay, by the way, going through the blind spot here. All the times that these drones have been interrupted from mining means things are going to be coming out a little bit slower here. So the Spire is about a 1/6 complete. The Vultures, this one, look at this. He just picks up that last one.
Yeah. Sulky was watching for this, so that's why that Overlord was there.
Right. And so now he's making a sunken colony, first a creep colony inside the entrance, but 3 Vultures can one-shot drones and Lings.
He actually has a little bit of miscontrol there. One of the Vultures goes over, but doesn't really matter. Goes to this. Oh my god, he's getting so many drones.
And Flash just hammering abuse down. One Vulture taken out. Second one could actually be shimmied over. There we are.
Oh my god, just the amount of damage he's doing here with every little unit is so absurd.
What is in this now?
Should be one more Vulture. Or, yeah,
okay. I was
like... 2 more Vultures.
Woo! He's so good.
Yeah. I almost feel like Flash should be typing right now into chat. He's like, you wanted this?
Naga.
My god. Just the amount of damage is absurd. The Vultures have done so much.
If he could rotate these Vultures down here, I mean, this is... Even if Flash wasn't in the seat, almost any other top-tier Terran can deliver from here.
Absolutely.
And now
all he has to do is
out.
As long as he has like 4 turrets or like 3 turrets and 2 Goliaths or something, right? Like just he doesn't need a lot, but the mutas are going to have like 1 chance to get in there where it's like, oh, are you ready for this? But he should be.
Okay, so the mutas have to clean up the Vultures first because you need everything as far as economy goes to go back to normal. This is why we're seeing, besides attacking drones, just making the mutas get closer to the top of the map only helps Flash more.
Yeah. Just keeping them busy.
Yeah.
Every second.
Okay, so he eventually just gives up on that.
Oh my god.
And back at home, there is already plenty to answer. What Zerg has finally managed to get, which is just a few Mutalisks, Goliaths at this rate of momentum are going to be very difficult to match versus Mutas. I mean, Mutas can't match versus them, excuse me, that's what I mean to say.
Yeah. All right,
so we have a quick Queen's Nest.
That is a little bit interesting. I wonder what exactly he's looking to do with that. I mean, maybe he thought that it wouldn't be mech. Obviously, we see that it is. Like, a lot of times when you go for the starport, it actually signals bioplay. Obviously, that's not the case here. So the Queen's Nest, I'm not sure what he can make occur with that, but I almost feel like in this situation, his best chance might be just massing mutas and getting carapace upgrades. Like, get +1 carapace, get +1 attack, and maybe try to fight with your 3 gases against the first Goliath move out, because that's going to be a scary one.
So there's going to be mounting pressure here from the Terran. When you get a play like that, like what Flash did, which bruised and battered Sulky and really hiccuped and slowed down in every way what he was trying to do, this is a headache. Because a lot of times what Zerg are trying to do is match the momentum of a 2-base mech to just barely hold it off while you kind of have an expansion in the background somewhere that you're taking.
Yeah.
You're trying to outgrow them and sort of go for this exhaust play where they don't quite have enough minerals and they sort of didn't do much with that. They don't have much control of the map. But from here, I mean, Flash can really leverage this position pretty easily.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's already getting up to 5 facts. Moving out with a lot of Goliaths right now. There's enough Sunkens that he won't attack into it. Still doing a little bit of scouting. He sees that the Hive is not on the way as of yet with the Wraith, so that was a pretty worthwhile.
By the way, the Wraith pulling the army away. There are enough Sunken colonies for the Goliaths to think twice, but had there not been, that might have been a good moment to pounce on that, gun that down, and then execute that expansion.
And Goliaths are pretty terrible against Sunken, so a smart move back, but you know, just the fact that he's had to make those Sunkens, that's something.
Here's that pocketed expansion. Even though there probably will never be an attack at the space in the upper right, this is the base we want to see if it can develop. Because right now, Terran's expanding again, taking the 3rd pretty easily. Going to be hard for Terran to take a 4th, by the way, on this map.
Yeah, I could see that being problematic.
So what Zerg's probably going to go for, like the way this game will probably unpack itself, is that Terran will be trying to keep pressure on. The Zerg is probably not going to necessarily try to kill the Terran so much as outlast him.
Yeah.
Because you're just not going to be able to fly in here with Mutas. Now this is harass, this isn't him trying to kill him, but you're not going to see the Mutas come in here and kill all the Goliaths and end the game.
Well, he's getting his evolution chamber down now, adding some additional hatcheries, and we see that he is still making Mutas, so that kind of was the idea, but now that he's seen the 3rd command center, what that really signals, I think, more than anything, is that Flash realizes there's no real kill timing, which means he'll probably go into 2-1 and he'll probably go into Vessels.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, that's too bad.
That is too bad, isn't it?
Had the Mutas caught that, that would have been a pretty nice victory there for Sulky. Now, what's in here? Is it just vultures again?
That's a good question.
Oh, Queens.
I don't think Flash saw it. I think that was barely out of his vision. Oh, this was just a scout.
Oh my God, look at that. Artosis.
Yeah. No, that was cool.
Marry me. This is the greatest moment we've ever experienced. He just scouted with a dropship.
I know.
Because, like, why not?
I'm not
It's
gonna use
actually
it.
fast.
What am I going to drop with? Like,
It's not that expensive.
Yeah. No, totally. He doesn't have
He didn't,
scans or anything yet.
His academy wasn't done. So he just, wow.
Yeah, I believe he didn't see the Queens. And
no, he
the
did
Queens
not.
are going to be so unbelievably important. Like, that is a great way to counter mech play if you can get it to work. But there's, like, these weak points. Like, if you see Queens, you just kind of go because it takes forever for them to get 150 energy.
Right. And that's the big caveat with this build is that, yeah, Queens can basically just... Now, did he see it?
He saw
I think
it.
he should have seen it.
100% saw.
So, yeah, the Queens can insta-kill with Broodlings, but it takes a long time, as Artosis was saying. By the way, we did see that Vulture kill drones at that upper right base. I think there's another Vulture coming up there. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Nope, there it is. And this is just stopping this expansion from starting, which it might seem like a subtle part of this game. It's actually a pretty big deal because Zerg right now is on 3 bases to Terran's 3 base, so the 4th base is very important.
Oh, the Vulture is really doing a lot of work over here all by himself. I feel like Flash's move-out timing is now. He saw that Queen pop, but that he might be counting that as the first time Queens were made. But yeah, see, he's gotten into Vessels. He has 2-1 on the way. maybe even 2-2 at this point. So like he's setting up for a nice macro game, and he does have the 3 bases. But yeah, the queens are going to be very, very scary if you don't get some damage done and all your tanks disappear.
And there's no utility with getting in snare here, right?
Like I feel like I would upgrade it, like
just to have it.
Yeah, because if you have like 1 queen in the battle that didn't have the energy, that might be a worthwhile cast.
So does Terran want to go for EMP here and just try to zap all the queens, or is that?
It's like if you do that, you're a god. It's hard to do, but I mean it's somewhat doable. I think most Terrans like to just try to use Irradiate. If the queens don't get off more than 1 ensnare, then I mean more than 1 broodling, then it's not that bad. It's when they start getting reused multiple times that it gets real bad.
Okay, 1 parasite thrown down here. He's trying to spot and see where the mass amount of tanks are.
Yeah, he also needs this for cloning purposes, because now he sees the army, and to actually shift-click all your queens out so they all cast broodling at the same time when they get there, you need a lot of distance and vision the whole time.
Excellent point, Artosis.
So that's something that, yeah,
here we go.
See, he's
cloned this now. And when Artosis says cloning, you mean so they can have each thing individually target down a biological unit, so this is spammed out immediately.
And you'll notice the queens turned around because the tank actually glitched and went backwards.
All right, there's 1 broodling. Kills the tank. Now, keep in mind, you cannot get into this position as Terran without gunning down the turrets with the tanks. Here we go. 1 other shot fired off. Bungled Irradiate. Not going to help at all.
Yeah.
Because the queen basically loses all value for minutes
a while,
after that. Once the spell is cast.
And there's enough sunkens there that makes it a little bit hard. Like Flash is making the right moves around the map, but killing the siege tanks is so crucial.
Okay, Goliaths are coming forward now, but Hydras are going to spill in here. And we're waiting for another Broodling to come down. There should be more Broodlings here. There's another Broodling cast. Another.
Yeah. All the siege tanks being taken out. And look at this. Despite all that early game damage, these queens have done the work. They've gotten rid of the siege tanks. And Goliaths alone against this many Hydras is pretty tough. Flash, though, gonna turn around and fight here. He is 2-1 against just 1-0.
Yeah, the upgrades are helping, but keep in mind the sunken colonies are going to make it much tougher for the Goliaths to ever actually get into that spot.
And it's hard to start producing tanks to bust through things like this because of the queens. The queens are a very good counter to the siege tanks.
Now also, if you guys look at the mini-map before the action picks up again, there's an expansion over here on the far left. There's 1 in the bottom right, too. Now, he's not expecting both of those to stay. He's throwing expansions down, trying to just keep the map, he's trying to get as many bases as possible and keep the Zerg on the defense. And sometimes, especially with Flash, we'll see plays where they're so aggressive and so good at what they're doing that you're not able to quite get onto the other side of the map and help out.
You know, it's kind of this common thing. The best player from a given race generally expands the most.
Yeah.
Like, look at Moon from Warcraft 3, Flash from StarCraft 1, Maru in StarCraft 2, right? Like, these guys all out-expand all the other players of their race hugely, and it just makes it such a different game because of that.
Yeah. And so I think Flash may have actually, even though Sulky held off the initial attack, he may have just outgrown everything here.
Well, the Hydras are all vastly out of position. He can't really challenge this push, right?
Yeah, where are the queens now?
The queens are getting energy in the middle top right. Like, see the middle that cloud that's like nowhere?
Okay. Yeah. So the problem is that even though Hydras might be able to take on Goliath, there's enough tanks out here that Goliath tank beats Hydra.
Well, he's even got 2-2 at this point, so his upgrades are superior. Like, this base is gone. I'm surprised that Sulky's even fighting it this much, to be honest.
Well, I think we might actually see him tap out here if there's no victory, because if he breaches this position, he can also get into the main, and that's where all the tech is. And these counterattacks, I like the idea, but again, like I said earlier, Flash is actually okay losing, like, for instance, this bottom right base or the center left base, because one of them is going to stay up, right?
Yeah, well, he won't even lose that. The SCVs will take down the Hydras at this point. He's rallying units over there.
I think there's more Hydras coming, though. But the point is just, like, there's no way for Zerg to both counterattack that and keep this base alive.
Look at that defense matrix on the Goliaths as well. I love it.
We should have GG in a second here. There's just no way to recover.
Sulky's still trying to attack a little bit, but Flash's economy looking fantastic. His production just on point. I tell you, if he hadn't done as much damage as he did in the early game, who knows what would have happened here.
Yeah. So, you know, the Hydras are going to get cleaned up. Again, Terran is just ramped up in supply and income. I will say Zerg has taken the center right, which is pretty good. It's something. The problem is that I just think anywhere where the next army wave comes, there's going to be too much. Again, do we have a shot of the Queens now? I'm also worried because
they should have their broodlings again.
There's so many tanks out now. I don't think there's enough broodlings for each tank.
Yeah, there might not be. And, well, even if there is, there's still a lot of other mech units in play right now.
And it's now 3-2 here. So what does Zerg get? +1, +2 attack?
+2 attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here come the Queens once again. Gonna get some irradiates off there. Obviously gonna lose quite a few tanks, but I mean, Flash is sitting on a lot of bases right now.
Okay, nicely done there by Sulky. But the longer these two bases that Flash both managed to get keep delivering income, the production's going to be insane. Flash is almost maxed out. In a minute or two, if he doesn't lose anything, he will be maxed out.
Yeah.
And Zerg is still below 100% supply. I guess just now getting to 100 supply, I should say.
Sulky is heavily relying upon his Queens. Like, he needs them to eliminate the tanks and gain him value over time. That's like the only way to really end up winning this game.
And you can see even the Hydras have a hard time doing that much damage to +3 attack, +2 armored Goliaths.
No, it's true. Like, Hydras are not that good against mech, really. I mean, no, they're more useful than a lot of things, but this is not like a real counter. It's just kind of what he has to do right now.
And if this base falls, by the way, Terran actually having control on the high ground now really causes a headache for any Hydras to get up here. They literally have to single file themselves through this area.
Yeah. Even with a reduced siege tank count, Flash just has so much here. Quite a nice game, though, I have to say. Like, Sulky did quite well, considering how rough the early parts were with the Vultures.
We see a lot of Flash games look like this, where it seems like there's a moment where the player's going to he's going to do it. He might actually win the game. We saw those Hydras overwhelm those Goliaths, but then, you know, you look back at what else Terran has, and with the additional expansions, the staggered macro, there's just no way. I mean, Flash is basically, he makes Terran look so insanely strong. It's just crazy. He just so outproduces.
Yeah, Flash soggy, man. Like, he's just, it's ridiculous to watch him. You're just like, yeah, no one else can do this. What he's done this game.
Yeah. So Zerg is now boxed in. In an ideal situation, Zerg would have looked more like, as far as mini-map control, it would have looked more like what the Terran is.
Yeah.
The Zerg hopes to basically hold up the initial powerful attack, and then the Terran sort of peters out.
Sulky continues to fight, but he really needs like 2 more bases than he has right now. If he had 2 more bases that were mining well at the moment, I'd be giving him a shot. You know, he's still got a sizable supply. He's still got a lot of Queens out, but there's no real win condition here for him.
Yeah, there's not a real way to dig your way out of this position here. And you can see, you know, in theory, the Queens are quite good with the broodlings against the tanks, but at this point in time, there's so many bases here that Flash can produce tanks quicker than Queens can produce energy to make broodlings.
It's like this weird secondary economy where Sulky just has to stay alive forever doing this, and then eventually it's like each of these Queens was multiple mineral patches, you know?
Each Queen has 25 kills. And now, Sulky sees himself getting painted into a corner. He's going to try to attack out here. There is +3 attack for the Zerg, but, you know, siege tanks with +3 attack against Hydras with no armor upgrades, not a pretty sight.
Yeah, tanks definitely with +3 splatter pretty much everything that there is. Siege mode not required.
Yeah, that's one of the funny things. I think a lot of times players think of the siege tank and only the damage it does in siege mode, but actually, especially with +3 attack, it's actually fine on siege too.
Yeah, higher single target DPS actually on siege. So they're definitely very useful in that regard. But Flash, he's maintaining basically a maxed army.
Right.
Sulky, he's not really mining that much, and you know he's got that base over on the right that he's had for a while. But don't forget the 2 naturals outside the main bases have reduced minerals and gas, so they don't last. Yeah, you broodlings like most of the tanks. Normally that's a horror show for Terran, but Flash has so much left over.
Yeah, really the Queen play is a momentum play. you ideally broodling down all the tanks. There it is, GG. He just taps out. There's no way for Sulky to recover, but hey, that was an awesome game for just a best of one. Yeah. And Sulky really showing why a lot of the times he looks like the best Zerg in the world right now.
Indeed. Flash coming well prepared for that first map, and goes the winner's match against Saxry, where he can maybe get his revenge from that round of 24 group.
Sulky is not eliminated from this yet. He'll be in the losers match going up against Tarangi, which I think he has a very realistic shot of winning there.
Yeah, if Harangi beats him in a best of 3, I don't know what universe
shocking.
I'm living in anymore.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to be going to a short break, but when we come back, we'll be going to our winners match. This is the phase of the tournament where we stop best of 1s and start best of 3s. So we'll be going to that in a short break. Do not go away. We will be right back.
첫 번째 매치 트라이포드에서 시작하겠습니다.
적극적으로 해가면서 확장 하나를 더 가져간 쪽과 더블 로보틱스. 예.
이렇게 갈리기가 진짜 힘들어요.
셔틀을 한 번 지나가는 거를
여기 자 셔틀 만나다
여기 만났어요. 아래도 있어요.
상황에서
아래도 있어요.
되지 않는 셔틀인데요.
네.
자 드래곤 7기가 쫓아갑니다. 격출시킵니다.
네.
막 나가자 이거죠.
네, 포로보틱스.
네, 어느 지역이든 간에 다 있어요. 드라군이 없는 곳이 없습니다.
이 떨고 났습니다만 아래쪽에서도 드라군이 접근하고 있어요. 본진의 3셔틀입니다.
네.
자 이거 좀 세게 들어가는데요.
네, 이거 내기와 섞입니다 리버.
예, 말 그대로 진짜 둠드랍이거든요. 둠드랍.
이거 완전 양쪽에서 덮쳐버리면 아무것도 못합니다 리버가.
예.
다시 한번 9시 미네랄 필드 뒤쪽에 사리버가 떨어집니다.
네.
와, 폭사를 만들어냈고요.
예, 그리고 여기는 핵심 자원줄입니다. 다른 곳의 자원은 지금은 모두 다 견제를 했었기 때문에 핵심 자원줄을 지금은 공략을 하고 있어요.
본진 쪽에 리버 내기.
네, 공격하느라 지금 이곳에 하이템플러가 갔는데도 신경을 못 썼죠. 확실히 지금은 자원줄이 말랐을 경우에는 다시 리버를
GG! 송병부대 도제욱의 맞대결 시작하겠습니다.
매너 파일론.
깨지였던 것에 반해서 좀 정상적으로 갑니다. 도지욱 선수. 앞마당 정도를 내가 빨리 먹었으니까 두 번째 확장은 너무 욕심부리면 안 되겠다라는 생각을 가졌어야만 했습니다.
네.
아니 지금 넥서스 이제 들어가고 있는데 넥서스가 2개나 지어지고 있어요.
선택을 한 거예요. 결국은 드랍류가 눈에 안 보이는 어떤 그 드랍류를 좀
GG! 첫 번째 매치 블록체인에서 시작하겠습니다.
중앙 쪽에 파일런 구로 시작을 합니다.
정윤종
앞불사죠.
네, 확인했습니다.
그렇습니다. 태클을 지금은 확보를 하고 있고 막 이런 상황인데 일단은 질럿 나왔고 보자마자 배터리 지금은 건설을 해서 본진 안쪽에서 지금은 수비 대비하고 있죠.
드라군 가두기거든요.
그렇죠. 네. 게이트웨이 근처를 좁혀주고 있습니다.
가둬놨어요. 우리 때립니다.
자, 일단
우리 드라군 때리지 마거든요.
예. 비벼주면서 드라군이 넘어왔어요.
그렇습니다.
넘어왔어요.
질럿을 짓밟고 다니고 있습니다.
질럿 둘을 잡고 타고 넘어왔습니다.
도제욱도 어이없어서 헛웃음이 나오죠.
와, 첫 번째 나온 드라군을 딱 잡아내고 난 이후에 질럿이 한둘 죽더라고.
두 번째 세트 네오실피드에서 시작하겠습니다. 도제욱은 가스 조절을 해주고 있고 정윤종은 그대로 가스 채취를 3마리로 해주고 있습니다. 네, 한기 먼저 더 끊었고요.
리버로 넘어가기 전에 6대4 점사로 지금은 차이가 더 벌어졌죠. 옵저버로 지금은 상대방의 병력을 확인해가면서 리버만 위협하고.
아웃됐어요.
안 맞았습니다.
안 맞았거든요. 오, 이거 대박이세요. 옥자마타리
못 갑니다.
여기에서 리버가 어느 정도 항전하고 있을 때 앞마당을 지금 덮치겠다라는 게 정윤종 선수의 생각인데.
자, 게다가 지금
리버 하나 있어요. 리버 하나.
네.
자, 리버 점사당하면
자, 리버 점사. 하지만 넥서스 1점사를 하고 있어요, 오히려.
네. 수비하는 쪽이 좀 튀어나가야 됩니다.
먼저 때리기 시작했던 정윤종이었는데요. 셔틀이 터졌어요, 셔틀.
야, 셔틀이 터진 거는 분명히 이쪽은 한쪽은 아케이드하고 한쪽은 아케이드를 못한다는 이야기니까.
셔틀 리버.
와,
셔틀 하나.
이거 정윤종이 정면에서 그냥 정직하게 있는 게 아니라 위에서도 병력이 나타났기 때문에 리버
드라곤이 지금 리버 길을 막고 있어서요. 드라곤 돌아요.
한 킬입니다. 모두
너무 그런데
그래도 리버를 잡았습니다.
그리고 뒤쪽에 셔틀 있어요. 뒤에 셔틀이 있는데 지상 물량에서 좀 차이가 납니다. 셔틀도 HP가 저 리버도 HP가 많지 않거든요.
오히려 셔틀 1.4를 해주면서 아케이드 못하게 해주고 있는 정윤종입니다.
꺾어 놓는 상태에서 본인은 조금 더 숫자를 많이
당했어요.
리버가 끝나갔죠.
진짜 퇴로가 없는 상황이었죠. 배수의 진 치고 지금은 나온 거였는데 리버가 잡혔습니다. 전살 당했고요.
질럿 앞에 붙여주고 드래곤과 함께 나와보는
물량이 강점인 선수에게는 물량으로 전력이 강점인 선수에게는 완벽한 수비로
GG 네오실피드에서 결국 정윤종이 승리를 가져가면서 8강에 가장 먼저 이름을 올렸습니다.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
More Flash games. Yay!
I'm excited.
And even if Flash loses here in some crazy twist of events, we would then have more Flash games.
Well, that would actually probably be optimal. But let's just get him right through, I would say. It's best of 3. If you can beat Flash in a best of 3, you are pretty damn good.
Yeah, you are one of the scariest gamers in the world. So, what next, man? I don't know. I don't know what after that game that we saw where I think Sulky played, you know, A level, almost A+ level for the best players in the world and just couldn't quite pull it off.
Yeah.
How in the hell do you beat Flash? I just don't know.
Well, I think that you can expect Flash to mostly utilize mech during this match, so there are some sharp timings that you can try. We've seen Molzerg used a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you can try weird Hydra type attacks and things like that. You can try to get into a macro game with Queens or something, but yeah, it's difficult. You have to really nail whatever it is. And then, of course, you know, if you prepared certain strategies and then he just decides to go bio on one of these maps, that can mess it up as well. But he does really like mech at the moment.
Okay, we're going to Neo Silphid for game 1. I think you're probably right about some kind of a timing attack. I don't think you want to go macro game against Flash. It seemed like Sulky hit all the marks and it still wasn't enough. Anyways, game 1 with Flash for Saxery starts now.
Now playing in Neo Silphid.
Is that a moment of lag or bad drone? I don't know. But we have Saxery at the top center, and we have Flash over on the left-hand side. Yeah, it's tough. You know, if you look at the people who actually have beaten Flash in something more than a best of 1, the list goes down substantially, right? Snow on a very Protoss dominant map set, but to be fair, Flash won the hard maps and then lost the more even maps, which was kind of funny. But Snow is like the best PvT, or at least at the time he definitely was.
Beating Flash in a best of 5 as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other loss, since Flash has really been in shape, right, was against Effort in the finals, and that's where we're hitting Zerg royalty, where it's like, oh yeah, no, you know, from the old days, there's like Effort and Jaedong, right, and like Effort's micro is as good or better than Flash's, and then you know he's one of the most decisive best planners of best of series in the history of Earth, and you know you line up all these things. So then you leave poor little Saxery, who's still coming up in the world, and you give him a best of 3 here, and the map pool is not even bad. You know, it's like Ground Zero's map 3. Here we have Neo Silphid is map 1, and in between is New Bloody Ridge. So you know, at least a couple of those maps really reasonable for Flash. It's a tough one.
And yeah, as Artosis was mentioning earlier, the mech is probably going to be the direction Flash will take this game. This has been pretty popular with a lot of Terran players. This sort of build-up of Goliaths with an inevitability of tanks, especially if the Zerg is going into Mutalisks. It kind of locks the Zerg into this weird tech expansion growth pattern.
Yeah, it feels like it really kind of came about because Zergs have been going 2-hatch so much lately.
Yeah.
And the 2-hatch replay, like if you're going for bio play against it, like yeah, you can hold everything. Like it's definitely a real possibility. But with the Goliaths, if you really truly nail it, right, the Zerg is kind of floundering a little bit against it.
There's a similarity thematically, like that we're having here today already in our 2 games that we saw. So, whoa, that's not going to always be like that, right? Or...
No, he can correct the drones. So
no. Wait.
He can correct. Watch.
Okay, now it should be okay.
Oh my God.
No, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, that would be.
This is actually, I'm going to have to
awful.
Tear my eyes out and jump into a bottomless
I think
pit.
he has to hold one drone back.
Okay,
I think he can do this. He needs to hold the drone.
Okay, big picture here, Atosis, is that you should never ever put your pool there ever, especially on a match
well,
that matters
this is
against
truly
the best player in the world.
What shocks me here.
What am I seeing?
Because I talked about this the other day, where the Robo trapped all the probes.
Hold on.
You're playing an important match, and then suddenly you're like, you know what? I have an idea for a new building placement I haven't practiced.
Yeah, this is...
What? Are you a professional gamer or are you not?
This is absolutely the worst thing I've seen in
This
ASL.
is pretty bad.
This is... And I don't mean to be too hard on these guys, but this is like...
Okay, he's got it.
Did he fix it?
Yeah.
Okay, but even then, why would you make your pool there? What is the point? Why would you ever put a building somewhere where the most important resource you're trying to tech into, you can't get efficiently? His build order is already way off the trajectory of where it needs to be.
He doesn't have as much gas as he should. That's a fact.
So what I was saying earlier, just about the 2 games that we had, when you see that Reaver Dragoon strategy with the Corsairs, because you teched into Dragoons, you're locked into doing that too, because of the way that build works. And 2-hatch Muta, if they switch into mech, like we've seen happen a lot, they can be locked into going Mutas.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to switch into a more macro-esque play. Like, I mean, we'll see Zergs try it. They'll probably take a quick third and stuff, but Flash's timings are just unbearably sharp, and he is going for the Goliath build.
One other thing I want to ask real quick here is, a lot of times players will put things by gas because they're trying to make the workers mine in a straighter line.
Yes.
Does that, assuming that you've managed to fix the situation where drones spawn from the north of the extractor, are they now mining more efficiently because of the placement of the pool?
They might be. I can't think off the top of my head if they do a little crooked dance going back from that position. But that could be why he put it there.
One of the things
I thought he could fix it. It took him forever to do it though. Like what?
Well, I almost wonder if he could feel the vibration of the roars as he's not got his drones mining correctly, and that freaked him out.
Might be.
You know, it's soundproof, but you can definitely, several hundred people in a room going, whoa. Yeah. It's the only thing that could possibly be about.
There's a few things more embarrassing than something like that. It's just
because anybody with a rudimentary amount of knowledge of the game would just know, like, okay, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So a few mutas are going to be made here. Just to explain why this would ever happen at all, guys. If you notice the way the workers move, they oftentimes, especially in mining, don't walk in straight lines. It's not like StarCraft 2, where the game is such that you can right-click on a blank map with no geographical obstructions. You can right-click, and a worker will always beeline.
Yeah.
Like exactly the most efficient way to get there. In StarCraft, they do not. They can kind of turn and fork and like that. So players place buildings in such positions to force those workers into straight lines, because in the grand scheme of things, how many times is a worker going to return minerals or gas in a game? Well, assuming they're doing it the whole game, a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so if you can make that pathing maybe a quarter of a second more efficient, that adds up to more money big time later on in the game. And that's why it was such a disaster to see the intended fix actually make the workers' mind slower.
So we just saw Flash throw down a starport. This signals macro play from him. He can continue his upgrades. He can do things like get into irradiate and whatnot. He'll probably stay on 2 factories for quite some time here. It's a build he's actually been using a decent amount lately. like against some of the best players, like in that end of the world match, I believe he used it against both Zero and Sulky, where Flash is on 2 facts until like 130 supply or something, just getting his upgrades and nailing everything, and then there's this ridiculous explosion with 2-1 Mac it's
just crazy.
Yeah, but I think that's probably what we're going to end up seeing here.
So, Zerg does have the right idea, and that the expansion in the center right is going to be taken. And this is a place that's actually pretty hard for Terran to push up, no matter what unit composition you have. Terrans really don't like trying to attack into these high ground areas that are pretty well contained, have small ramps.
We might be seeing Queens here. You know, I think that's actually a really great call if we do see the instant tech into Queens from Saxry. When you think about it, like what he's doing this game is very different from some of the other mech builds that we've seen. Where, and you can tell you actually planned this from the beginning. You even got the +1 Goliath attack, which signals going into 2-1. Otherwise, if you're doing timing stuff, you want the armor more quickly. But like if you're kind of going later additional factories that Flash has shown that he likes to do in this matchup, you're going to have slightly less tanks and slightly later tanks. So if you really get into Queens rather quickly, that feels to me like a situation where he might be able to actually control the tank count this game.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. This is a hard thing to pull off, though. It really is. I assume we're about to see a big berth of Queens. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at this. He scouted.
Sees it instantly.
He
That's
sees
so
it immediately.
funny.
Well timed out. That Vulture was not
valuable.
just randomly going through there, by the way. And I believe that when you see those Queens, that should trigger you to start to assert yourself on the map, because the Queens can't do anything for a while, right? So what you're trying to do is gauge, okay, how strong is Zerg? If it was just pure Mutalisks, or they were going, you know, rushing into Defilers or something else, where you might say, okay, different game. But here you say, no, I can probably come out and attack. And these Queens, it's going to be a long way before they have enough for Broodlings.
I tell you, these burrowed Zerglings are doing a great job right now. But yeah, you need some ambiguity kind of when you're going Queens.
Right.
The mech player generally gets scans quite late, and so doesn't have the type of scouting that Terran normally has in these situations to really hit sharp timings with. So very, very cool Vulture run in there for Flash, really helping him out here.
Armor is done for Mutas, by the way.
Quite important. Double armory is a swinging.
Is swinging?
Yeah.
Is a spinning?
Yeah.
They're swinger armories. Very open-minded. Looking for 2 forages or 2 evos.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So, again, with Flash able to move out on the map, he does have 1 science vessel here, so he can start to eliminate the burrowed lings that are there to basically monitor movement here.
Ooh.
Whoa, great play there.
That was a fantastic kill by Saxry. Saxry's playing a wonderful game. He
Yeah,
really,
he is.
really, really is. Like, you can tell his preparation. This is a very good build against the general style that Flash likes in these situations. And, I mean, there are a lot of Flash games out there that you can see. He streams all the time and plays all sorts of matches.
Okay, Vultures come inside. Nice burrow. Oh, some of them burrowed. I don't know what the story was with some of those that came out.
Well, doesn't get as much done as what he was looking for, but that's okay. The Vultures are expendable.
Yeah, certainly. They're the most expendable thing in Mac. That's why they can be really scary when they actually get to workers, because you can end up getting insane value. And even if you don't kill anything, it's pretty much fine. So the Zerg Hive is coming along here. It's 3 base to 3 base. Although I would say these 3 bases are a little bit less pushable than what we saw on Tripod.
Now, look, this is a really fantastic move that Flash is doing now. If you float buildings over your siege tanks, you literally cannot click on them to Broodling.
Oh, that's such a good point, Artosis.
So,
yeah.
You almost never see this, but this is an actual tactic that does exist. You can see that right now Saxry is gearing up for a very strong attack.
Okay,
but there's going to be 2 siege tanks he can't hit.
Where are those Queens? The Queens are actually going in the wrong direction. They're not coming towards the tanks they probably need to hit. Okay, they're taking out tanks that are over here at the natural, but this attack was... I gotta say, these Queen attacks here are just hard to pull off. And so, yeah, there it is. The eBay and the barracks cover up the tanks. And even though we a lot of times think of this game as micro and strategy, and all these other things. If you have a building over a tank, you can't click on it. You literally cannot cast Broodling on it.
Yeah, if you center it just right, it's that can occur.
Yeah.
You can't turn your screen at all in this game. It's just you see what you see. And the thing is, because it's a spell, he could select that tank if he wanted with a drag click, but it doesn't matter because you have to tell the spell to cast, and then you get the little cursor where it's like, now click on the unit you wanted to cast on. You just can't do that because the building's over it. So very nice tactical move there from Flash, helping him to gain a bit of an edge. Saxry is a little bit late taking his 4th base. I liked his position before that attack, but Flash is doing a very good job.
One of the problems when you're a Zerg going against a mech player is if you attack it 1 or 2 times and it doesn't work at this phase of the game, which is right where the wind is catching into the sails of the Terran's mech, I think it's almost impossible, especially at Flash's level, to recuperate.
Yeah.
I mean, you just traded so much into siege tanks. It's actually a lot like TVP, where when the Terran's on a 3rd base and the Protoss, you'll see this from sometimes, they just attack in and it doesn't go well at all. Everything dies. Usually the Protoss is going to die in a counter push.
Yeah, the Terran has to macro up for a little bit longer to hit that push, but you know, when you look at what Terran is doing, if you're spending all your money on making units and Terran is, their main focus is getting upgrades and they're sitting in a defensive posture, attacking them is dangerous. I think that Saxry's attack had potential there.
He set them in the wrong direction. He was trying to attack into the main. But yeah, a lot of the queens, it almost seems like you'd want the queens to come out and fire their broodlings first before the hydras come in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though the Goliaths will probably kill the queens as the broodling shot is
That's
fired
the tricky
out.
part.
But the thing is it looks like this is an attack that has to work or it's not going to pan out. I mean, if you're going to say, oh, but I don't want the queens to die, I'm going to save them for later. Okay, I get it, but you've probably already lost the game by then if the attack didn't go that well.
Yeah, the 2 tanks that just kind of remained the entire time on the high ground, it feels like he could have killed the 3rd specifically.
Yeah.
Without the
or
floating
at least forced
buildings.
to lift. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hydras can kill a floating command center relatively quickly, so... Anyways, an interesting game right now. Saxry is finally getting another base, but Flash is as well, and he probably won't stop doing things like this for the rest of the time. Just continually expanding. Defilers actually joining the fray.
Defilers can be a great answer to mech. Now, they do not generate a real response to siege mode when tanks are already sieged, but Goliaths obviously won't do any damage in them. You know, unsieged tanks trying to move across the map will certainly have to respect Dark Storm as well.
Yeah, like mass siege tanks, it's almost like Dark Storm doesn't exist if you get like a bunch of siege tanks, but since he already has some queens out, maybe that together will, you know, kind of, it'll work well together when you think about it, right?
Right.
Like if you're reducing the siege tank count, then suddenly the Dark Storm is stronger. Obviously, Plague can be very good. You plague a group of Goliaths or a group of really anything. Plague is just a good spell. So, don't hate what I'm seeing from Saxry at all.
Yeah, I just worry about how Saxry is going to close us out. A Terran player taking a 4th base on mech is a lot of times a death sentence for the Zerg. I mean, this is a battle that Terran's going to need for a lot of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Zerg really is going to have to get control of the bottom right. You can see that Flash is cognizant of that already. We have vultures that are intended to come. Ooh.
He's so active right now on the map.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure that bases can't be taken down there, because eventually Flash will have the muscle, and that's going to be in about a minute here, by the way. He'll have the muscle to move across the map and try to kill the Zerg. Now, Zerg at half supply, it looks like there's no way to recover, but it can be a bit deceptive in Brood War. A lot of times Zergs can do an insane amount off very little supply.
Against mech, that can get a little bit more difficult at times. But let's see. All right, Flash has 2/2. His +3 attack should be done very shortly. He has a hell of a lot of siege tanks.
And this is why it was very important for that Queen Hydra timing attack to go better than it did, is because it does. I mean, how many Queens would you even need to take out that many tanks? I mean, he's going to get rid of some of these tanks, and then the rest of the maxed out army is going to push over him. Already, those tanks are being remade as we speak.
Flash is really on top of his macro here now. You know, Dark Storm plus Lurker. That can do it. That can slow down that mech army for sure. Flash being a little bit sloppy here, but he's actually able to because he's taken a 5th base during all this.
Okay, So the Dark Swarm and Lurkers, yeah, it's harder to get into that area. And yeah, there's not anywhere near as many science vessels as if you were going for bio. But these Dark Swarms don't last forever, and the sheer volume of tanks that are coming out in this game is going to create a no man's land that a small army Zerg is just going to have a nightmare dealing with. You know, already you can see, even with Dark Swarm basically muting most ranged units besides siege tanks, it doesn't matter because there's so much muscle to push through here that this Terran mech army can battery and ram through basically everything.
Yeah.
I mean, look, watch these links. These Lurkers have to burrow first, and they're not even able to burrow. GG.
Those
Okay.
3 siege tanks. That is a lot of them.
Yep.
So Flash showing his ridiculous indomitable strength. I think that Saxry's build actually was magnificent. I think he planned it perfectly well as far as strategy, right? He even had, I think, like tactically the right types of ideas. The burrowed Zerglings, you know, the very quick queens to kind of counteract the quick 2 forge off of only 2 factory play that Flash really likes in macro games. But Flash's perfect hold of that attack, really, Saxry never really got over 120 supply again, right? He attacked that one time, and then for the rest of the game, it was like, oh, I just don't have anywhere near as much as you. I feel like for him to win that game, his attack needed to kill the 3rd base. That's what it seems like.
We're going to go to New Bloody Ridge for game number 2. I just don't see this queen stuff working against Flash. I think some of it's the execution, but it just seems like he's got a very good handle on this. He's very able to scout it. Let's find out what our Zerg does this time around.
Now playing in New Blood Ridge.
Alright, so Flash in the bottom left, Saxry in the top right. If there was a map where Flash would go bio, I believe that this would be it. I guess we'll just see, because again, I think that Saxry's playing very well.
Yeah.
That was...
Well, I like the incorporation of Burrow back there.
Yeah. Even, I swear to God, like the speed of those queens. First off, Flash scouted them, which was really good for him, and obviously Flash makes his own luck. But, you know, it was like a combination of like scouting that and then knowing he can instantly take a 3rd base and roam the map a little bit for pressure.
So here's...
And then, of course, floating the buildings over the siege tank so that his 3rd base was not really gettable.
So it seems like here's the game plan from the Terran. You are constantly monitoring when the queens are going to come out. If they're going to come out very late, you take a later 3rd. If you can identify that they're coming out early, you take a quicker 3rd. This was how the scouting was going. You're just checking because even though the queens can hard counter the tanks if the execution is done correctly, the queens have to gain 150 energy, and I believe they spawn with, is it 70 or
oh, it's like 55 or something.
Oh, okay, so it makes sense, like a Templar. Yeah, okay, so let's say it's 55. That 150 energy is just a long time, guys. And the amount of gas the queens cost. Once you've made them, there's like this period where the Zerg is basically on lunch break as far as aggression goes.
Yeah.
Like it's going to come back later, but you have this moment where they really can't do anything, especially if you've been making Goliaths off the 2 factories the whole time, which we've seen is part of Flash's build.
Yeah.
He gets enough Goliaths that mutas really have to respect the ground army. Also, a little other caveat here in the build. He's very good at making the minimum amount of turrets.
Yes.
In that game, he made exactly 2 at the bottom.
Yeah.
Nothing in the middle, and he
does.
just keeps the Goliaths there. And yeah, whether it was a drop ship in the game versus Sulky, which he sent out to confirm when it was coming out, or vultures darting out on the map to scout, he's just always identifying the moment the queens hatch. And this is what makes it easy, because let's say, again, if the queens are later, stay on 2 bases and attack later. you're going to have the powered-up mech army.
Yeah.
If they make the queens right away because they're intending to win in a longer game, take a third base and float buildings over your siege tanks.
Yeah.
And you're fine either way.
And I don't have his exact numbers on how he plays that all out, but I think that was a really accurate analysis of the thought process overall, the general direction that he's going in.
There might be other stuff he's looking for too. I'm not totally sure.
Well, if they make a round of queens that, you know, they make 8 queens, that's 8 less mutas, right? And then you're like, oh, you just don't have an army.
Yeah.
All you have is your mutas,
and then,
which means that I can expand. It's
if you see those 8 queens, I don't even think you have to make more Goliaths. I think you just throw down more factories and command center. And
oh yeah, no, the queens get comboed with ground units, not with mutas. That like wouldn't even make sense because the queens are for tanks, not Goliaths. Goliaths are too cheap.
Right.
Broodling against Goliath would be the worst idea ever.
No, that would never pan out.
So it's like, yeah, which almost makes some really bad ideas for strategies seem like they could be good. You like make a queen pop out as Flash scouts it, and then you just make mass mutas and you just kill them.
Yeah, actually, you know, there's almost something to that, where it's like
people always make fun of me and I for saying you win because you're bad, but it's true, man. Like,
but I mean, if we saw a pro gamer do that, that would be so cool because you know what a way to pull that off.
Yeah. Here we actually have a very quick upgrade there. I imagine that it's going to be speed for vultures. I'd be surprised if it was anything else.
So that first vulture is going to come out here, and on most maps you can basically set up a contain outside their base with 1 vulture, which stops lings from scouting, anything else from coming out. And we have our Zerg just going for the 2-hatch meta play.
Yeah, and Flash is going for Goliath play, of course, here once again. Be interesting to see how he changes it up and how Saxry does as well. I feel like Saxry should actually play pretty similarly to last game.
Now, this has been a pretty trendy build in 2019 with a lot of ideas behind the fact that the Zerg goes for the 2-hatch muta, and that Goliaths can kind of lock them into the mutas. The mutas don't have the opportunity, like they do against Bio, to maybe abuse the Terran and cripple them. And we've seen, especially with players like Sulky. Hold on, I'm sorry. I need to be quiet because there's a vulture attack coming over here. This run by is pretty sick. Now, the block was great by Zerg, but there were drones killed, and you don't get a lot of drones right away with this build.
Yeah, and I think he killed enough drones that it was okay, but not spectacular.
It's what I was saying earlier. A lot of games, especially with players like Sulky, we've seen them against Bio play come in. They do a little bit of harass. They get the Marines out of position, and then suddenly Lings come in, flood the natural. Maybe they kill the bunker, and sometimes Terrans fall apart. This is actually a pretty robust play against specifically those Mutalisks. And I don't think we've really seen Zergs. We've seen Zergs come up with an idea that's an answer, but I would not say an executional answer against it.
Well, I think that, like, Flash is kind of the leader of this build and many, many other Terran builds, where he's the one making a lot of the big advancements in it and really understanding the cutting edge of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Even like you were saying, right, like, so few turrets, the placements of the Goliaths and all these things, scouting out the queens when they come.
Yeah.
Like, he knows every little aspect that he's looking for, and if you haven't explored it as deeply as him, this is why he switches around his TVZ builds all the time. Because he will go in with a more profound understanding of what he's supposed to do, and how do you fight that if you just don't know it as well as he does? You're in his territory.
It also seems like it's this style was probably the Zergs had the exact answer as the later part of KSL was going on. That's why we didn't see it as much. His queens are coming out, brood-leaning tanks. And then it was back into the ball was back in Terran's court. Okay, how do you respond to this? How do you handle this?
It's interesting. Like 1-1-1, it's still around, but Zergs did get quite good against it, right? And now here we have this specific 2-factory Goliath build. Looks like he is going into the macro variant here once again. His vulture's running around, just trying to see what they can do, what they can scout. The mutas, it's so funny just watching the mutas like chase a vulture around. God.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. A vulture with speed can really stretch out the amount of time that the Zerg has to be preoccupied with trying to stop this. By the way, 2 vultures are going to try, I think, run into the natural and get some kills.
very interesting. He's even laying down a few mines here and there. Wow, really nice stuff. And he has +1. Oh wow, the burrow was really clutch there. But even getting the +1 and running into 2 vultures so he could one-shot drones. Beautiful plays
And
here.
you can even see how he spreads us apart. He keeps one over there, and just to keep the mutas back, another one escapes, and he tries to actually dart back out again. Everything he's doing is just so great. By the way, the second armory is going to come down, and we're going to have that super late academy, which is a feature of this build as well, is that you're only focusing your gas on upgrades for mech and factories and Goliaths, and eventually the starport.
I think it's funny, he's getting the academy a lot quicker this game. I think he is going to be specifically scanning, looking for queens.
Yeah.
I think he just really wants to know what's up with that, because I'm trying to think of what else. Like, he has his vultures on the map, so he has mines being laid. He's not going to get attacked and not know he's getting attacked, right? So what else are you looking for? You're not afraid of ultras, right? You're not. He's just kind of scanning, seeing, okay, what are you producing here? Here's your production center.
Now, we don't know that you absolutely every game have to go queens. I feel like we need to see a few more games of this. It seems like that's the trendy response, but you know, it's always possible you try to fake him out. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a queen's nest here. He's 100% going to go queens, guys.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's the only thing that Zerg has to do here. I feel like if we had this meta continue to play out, we might see different ways that Zerg approach this.
It's just that Flash is so good at defending everything else. If you're playing the long-term game, it feels like queens might be the best choice. So.
Oh, dropship comes in here.
Oh, you know what?
Scan.
That might be part of the reason why you got scanned too, right?
Yeah.
For this drop harassment a little bit.
Okay, great control there. Takes that out.
He's killing drones and causing loss of mining time, and these vultures are so expendable, like we've been talking about.
It seems like it's so brazen to make the command center just out there like that. Oh, not bad. But I guess the mutas are so preoccupied trying to keep everything back. By the way, we didn't get a chance to highlight it, but there was this cool moment where he just sent Goliaths across the map just to force sunken colonies to then back up.
Yeah, yeah. These are just all amazing moves that we're watching, and the amount that he's dictated what Saxter has to do and where he has to be, that's why he can build this command center here.
So energy gains on that queen, it's like 1 energy for every like 2.5 seconds or something. So you've got a ways
I feel
to go.
like it's 1 for 1, but
is it?
I think so.
Oh gosh.
I think that's how it works.
Maybe it always feels like it's longer when you're playing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Time seems to kind of slow down in an intense StarCraft
I've
game.
watched your games. Your size storm's never there at 75 seconds. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, 1 tank going down.
This is reasonable mutas, I guess. What he's
I think they might get trapped in here, though. And this is going to be a bad moment here because now the mutas can't get out without a lot of them being killed off here. And moments like this can be game costing, as the mutas were, besides the queens and the eventual ground army, the only thing that you really had.
You know what's funny, too, is Flash has already been on 3 add-ons for a long time. So to lose the mutas is even better for Flash at this point. Because it's like, yeah, he can spend all of his gas on siege shanks and then still have vultures on the map and not really worry about his Goliath count too much.
Right.
So things looking good right now for our Terran hero. Queens are out, though. Oh, that's a nice little burrow thing. I love the burrow usage. The amount that we're seeing burrow nowadays is awesome.
Yeah, StarCraft has really gotten so advanced now. Again, 3 base versus 3 base here. This is going to... Oh, my God. Now, that was unlucky, for sure.
That
was... Ouch. Okay, so we're going to have that attack come in here again. Now, where exactly do you attack? I guess there's only one spot, right? It can only happen over here at the 3rd, right? Or the mouth of
right
the 2nd.
there, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of defending everything in one area. You can see him floating all his buildings over on top of siege shanks. He's building extra turrets. He has his Goliaths out to zone as well. I can't believe how many Hydras are dying to mines right now.
We've almost had a control group of them going down here.
Yeah.
You know, that really matters because most of these Hydras are cannon fodder for the other Hydras to get up to the place to hit.
Notice as well, he's made extra E-bays. So he is really not screwing around with this. Like, he just does not want anything to get broodlinged. Here come these queens. What are they going to do?
Now, again, they are going to brutally down.
He got some.
Okay, that again, it just didn't work. It was a failed attack.
Yeah.
He lost Hydras, he lost Queens. And Terran effectively loses nothing. I mean, you expect to lose a tank or two when they're going to try to come in there like that, you know. But I'll lose a tank for waves of Hydras, and whether the Queen's killed or the energy is just depleted, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, if you try to send the Queens in alone, they'll die before they get to the tank, so you send your Hydras too, which just makes a favorable trade for Flash. And the fact that he saves so many siege tanks during that, due to some of this awesome placement of these floating buildings, he's such another level, man. It's so crazy.
So the hype's done. We have the Zerg Defiler Mound, which is really, I think, the only hope at this point in time of sandbagging the progress of the Terran army on the map. But, you know, I just don't know that with the number of Hydras killed and that attack being less impactful, mind you, than the attack we saw in the first game between these two. I just see, yeah, it's like, okay, you got a Brutaling. That's fine. There are more tanks than there are Queens now.
Yeah.
And then soon there might be as many tanks as there are Hydras. That's the way that he's producing, you know.
Well, certainly that'll be the case after a real engagement.
And you're also seeing the armor really play out here. The tanks get so much more sustainability here. Oh my god. Okay.
This is...
Flashes everywhere.
He's so brutal.
This is like the esports manga version of this, where, you know, everything is way exaggerated. Like, this isn't how it's ever supposed to look, but now there's tanks sieging up surrounding Hydras.
Flash's eyes are way too big.
Yeah. It's like just... It's crazy. As he's playing, small pebbles and rocks are starting to rise around him.
Oh, well, that's actually happening. I can tell you. All right, well,
yep.
I mean, Saxtree's forcing some sieges and whatnot, trying to throw some lurkers down, but there's scans, so...
I think Consume's still a way out here, so there shouldn't be a Dark Swarm for a few more seconds. And, you know, these Hydras need to get this down. Here we go. Again, there it is, GG.
Yeah, Flash just
garbage
butchering.
compacting, butchering.
Saxtree is not playing poorly. It's just, it's Flash. The favorite of every tournament he enters.
I want to point this out. I don't know if that Queen play can work the way it probably did in the past. I mean, floating buildings over the Queens.
Over the tanks.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, over the tanks. Completely and totally denies.
Well, it's because specifically Saxtree's going for a timing attack with Queen Hydra.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's not going to work. Queens are still going to be okay against mech. Like, you can use them in the longer, later games.
Right.
But this timing attack Saxtree brought in today, it seems strong. I'm sure it kills a lot of Terrans, but not Flash.
Okay, we now have an interview with Flash. He is the second to last player to advance in the round of 8. Let's find out how he's feeling.
The quintessential Terran player puts on a phenomenal performance and moves on to the round of 8 as the first place in this group. Congratulations.
정말 경기 전에도 저그전만 준비했다는 얘기를 들었는데
in the interview you mentioned that you were practicing TVZ primarily, and we definitely saw the result of what happened.
8강 진출 성공하셨는데
And
소감부터
you
좀
make it to the
들어볼까요?
round of 8. How do you feel?
일단 뭐 24강에 비해서
Well, compared to round 24,
게임을 한 것 같고요.
I think I played a perfect game.
오랜만에 나와서 24강 때는 좀 아쉬운 모습도 많이
Well, it's been a long time,
점점 적응을
and
하면서
I'm
옛날
starting to adapt
모습으로 돌아가고
to
있는
this
것
environment,
같아서
and I'm
이번
getting back to
시즌도
my original skills.
최초 4회 우승에 한번 도전해
So this
보도록
time
하겠습니다.
around, I'll aim for
와,
that
4회
fourth
우승에
ASL
도전한다는
victory,
정말 대기록에
championship.
도전한다는 각오까지 밝혀주셨는데 아무래도 24강에서 이혜원
And
선수에게
in the round of 24, you did lose to Saxtree
16강에서
once.
이영호 선수에게는 굉장히 또 좋은 약이 됐던 것
And I think that
같아요.
served as a good medicine for you in the round of 16.
또 많은 테란 선수들이 좀 까다로워하는 운영인데도 이 킬에
And
대한
you know, dealing with a lot of
완벽하게 됐던 것
queens,
같거든요.
that's kind of hard for
예상하셨나요?
Terrans, but you
일단
coped
1경기
with it so
같은
perfectly.
경우에는 그 민철이 형이랑 할 때는 사실
Well, when I played against
가면
Solki,
끝났는데 민철이 형 대처가 너무 좋아서 저도
Solki fended off my army so well, and I was kind of startled.
준비한
And honestly, I thought I was going to lose that
저도
match.
당황하면서 준비한 그냥 즉흥적으로 했는데
And then everything else was done impromptu, and I'm glad it worked well.
먹혔던 것 같고 예훈이 형이랑 할 때는
And when I was playing against Saxtree,
그 건물로 또 퀸 활용을 못하게 해서 그게 승리의
yeah, I used the buildings to disable the queens, and I think that really
그런
worked
센스
well.
있는 플레이 역시 좀 즉흥적으로 움직이는
And that play was
플레이였나요?
also done impromptu, right? Yes, that's right.
두 번째 경기 때도 즉흥적이었고
In the second half, there was
생각을
everything was done
또 피해
impromptu.
능선도 했잖아요.
네.
You know, in the Bloody Ridge,
그 전판 실피드 때 베스를 안 뽑으면 더 좋을 것 같더라고요.
I
그래서
probably shouldn't have
완전
picked the
맞춤을
vessels.
했는데 실시간으로 그게 완벽하게
And everything was done
먹혀서
real
쉽게
time,
이긴 것
all
같아요.
decided real
와,
time.
또 이예훈 선수가 두 번째 세트에서 진출하려고 할 때는 마인으로
And
또
Sex3 in
까다롭게
the second set
해주면서
against
정말
Sex3,
그야말로
you
빈틈없는
cut off the
완벽한 경기력을
hydras with the
보여주셨습니다.
spider mines too.
이쯤 되면 8강에서 이영호 선수 그 누구도
And
좀
in the round
만나고
of
싶지
8,
않을 것 같은데
nobody probably wants
8강에서
to
만날
face
수
you
있는
in the round of 8.
선수들이 조기석 선수,
And the
이재호
possible
선수, 장윤철
opponents
선수
are like
이렇게
Snow,
좀 포진이 되어
Light.
있네요.
누구랑 만나고 싶나요?
네.
Who do I want to meet?
민철이랑 하고 싶어요.
I want to meet Snow.
저번에 한번 8강에서 떨어져가지고
In the round of 8,
민철이랑 만나면
I lost
이번에
Snow.
네.
So
제가
this time,
당황을 못 살아서
you know, I need to make my revenge.
지난 일요일 장윤철 선수와의
Last
승자
Sunday,
인터뷰에서 장윤철 선수는
in the
저에게
interview
이영호
with Snow,
선수만 좀
he said that he wants to play
피해달라고
anyone
부탁을
apart from
했었거든요.
you.
근데
But
안 될 것
you know,
같나요? 만나야 될 것 같나요?
저를 이긴 게 잘못입니다.
you know, he shouldn't have beat me. Just because he beat me,
장윤철 선수
he
정말
earned my
겁에 질려서
he
이영호
earned my
선수
revenge.
인터뷰를 좀 지켜보고 있을 것 같은데
So he's probably
이영호
scared at home
선수의
right now watching this
팬분들은
interview.
정말 기쁜 마음으로 또 인터뷰 지켜보고 있을 것 같습니다. 팬들에게도 한마디 전해주시죠.
Any words to your beloved fans?
네, 되게 오랜만에 나와서 또
It's been a long
8강까지
time
오는
coming
모습
here.
보여드려서
So I
굉장히 기쁘고요.
hope to show you good performance until the round of 8.
이번 시즌 좀 남다른 의미로 열심히 하려고
This
멘탈을
time,
잡고 있어요. 이게
I,
대회를
you know,
오래 쉬다
I
보니까
set up a new mindset
저조차도 약간
to try
옛날
harder.
그 기운을 못 찾아서 지금
But I still
굉장히
haven't
헤매고
found my
있는데 옛날 대회 때
previous
얼마나
skills.
열심히 했던 그런 감성을
And I'm,
잊어가지고
you know, I'm
지금
in
열심히
search
옛날
of finding that
느낌으로 많이 찾고
old skill
있으니까
of mine.
이번 시즌도 정말 열심히
So this
준비해서
season, I'm gonna try
항상
real hard
좋은 모습 보여드리겠습니다.
and show you the best performance.
네, 오늘 다시 한번 진출
Once again,
축하드리고요.
congratulations on
고맙습니다.
making it to the round of 8. Thank you.
자, 이렇게 해서 오늘의 첫 번째
They're
대회
saying he's
진출자
not quite
이용호
at
선수와
his,
함께했고요.
his
계속해서
previous
여러분을
ASL
위해
peak right
준비된
now.
이벤트 안내해드립니다.
But looks pretty good to me.
Looks good enough. Really, like, basically perfect play, to be honest, against that queen style. I don't know what Zerg's supposed to do exactly against that. I feel like normally we have
It's
more
hard.
that we can say about that.
It's
but
hard. Well, it takes time for people to get really used to what he's doing with it and find a way to fight back.
I mean, being able to cover up tanks with buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say.
The closest games I've seen against specifically this from 2-hatch Muta against the 2 armory play is just like really heavy mutalist harassment, trying to take out turrets, get on top of factories, trade with Goliaths and stuff. But even that, you're like, that can't work forever.
Hang on to your tickets, by the way. We're giving away mouse pads, fans, and jerseys. So we do that at the end of the show. So if you're in the studio listening to this on the English stream, hang on to your stuff.
Hang on to your stuff.
And get
It's
more
great
stuff,
stuff that you
possibly.
can get.
We're going to a break. When we come back, the losers match. Don't go away.
So good. Feeling so good.
구슬님, 한국의 글로벌 아이돌하면 누가 생각나세요?
저는 아무래도 현재 세계적인 인기를 끌고 있는 BTS. 네.
저도 BTS랑 트와이스가 생각나요. 최근 여러 분야에서 해외에서 인정받는 한국 아티스트들이 많아지고 있는데요. 제가 소개해드릴 곡은 토마스 골드와 한국 출신 프로듀서 레이든이 함께 작업한 Someone New입니다. 레이드는 세계의 유명한 EDM 페스티벌 무대에 수차례 올랐고 2018년도에는 마틴 게릭스와 함께 평창 올림픽 폐막식 공연을 함께 하기도 한 자랑스러운 한국 DJ인데요. EDM 씬에서 레전드로 자리 잡은 토마스 골드와의 협업이라니 정말 기대되는 작품이 아닐 수 없습니다. ASL 시즌 8 오프닝 곡이 Someone New, 지금 바로 감상해보시죠.
TV ASL 시즌 8 이제 승자전 매치 함께하겠습니다. 저그 대 저그전 경기가 펼쳐지거든요. 오늘 1경기, 2경기에서 놀라운 경기를 선보이면서 올라온 두 명의 선수가 대결을 펼치겠습니다. 이몽규 선수와 김성대 선수의 대결이에요.
Irony is clear to me. What got me tripping is what I'm missing now. I lost a piece, I'm incomplete. Tried to find it, getting tired, 'cause now I'm on the other side. The grass ain't greener, it's a lie. There's no better place tonight than by your side. But I'm with someone new. I'm with someone new. I'm with someone new. I'm with someone
그 클럽에서 많이 들어본 듯한
요즘 같은 딱 여름 밤에 들어도 맥주 한잔 하면서
페스티벌 같은 데 가면 막 들을 수 있는 노래 같았어요. 저희는 다음에 또 좋은 BGM과 함께 돌아올게요.
지금까지
왓츠얼 카라 바이올렛이었습니다.
OLED TV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
Welcome back, guys. It's time to eliminate one of these players. We only have 3 left in Group D. Harangi is the big underdog here. He is still a great player, but definitely overshadowed by these 2 great Zergs and the best Terran, the best player in StarCraft. So I wish him luck, because Sulky is... I just don't know how you beat him at Harangi's level.
Yeah, it's like pretty tough. You know, Protoss have been doing a lot better against Zerg lately, but I feel like that, you know, like last KSL season, for instance, like every Protoss was beating every Zerg, and PvZ looked ridiculous. But I feel like that's already starting to ebb a bit.
Yeah. You know, it's going to be on Overwatch to start things off. It's a one-on-one map. I actually think there's a better chance of Harangi pulling something off on this map. Yeah, I think you can get your expansion up. The question is, how does Sulky approach this? Because Sulky's one of these Zergs with a range of pretty much everything. And I think out of all the Zergs we've ever had in StarCraft, he makes it look easier than the other players. He makes it look truly effortless.
Yeah, where a lot of Zergs struggle, he just pulls it all together.
Yeah. Okay, game 1's ready on Overwatch. Let's go.
Now playing in Overwatch.
So Harangi in the bottom right, which of course leaves a Sulky in the top left. Yeah, I guess we wait and see what's going to occur. There was one game Sulky played on this map in particular. He was bottom right. It was in KSL against top left Protoss. I think it was Snow he was against, if I recall correctly. And he rushed up to Hive very quickly and got Adrenal. It was the only thing he got off Hive. And it was like a little bit lurker heavy, very few Hydras, lots of Lings. It was a very interesting game. And I was kind of smitten with that game. I was like, oh, this is really kind of handsome. Like, what is this weird Adrenal timing? Because the Protosses were playing really gateway heavy at the time and stuff. I believe he rushed up to Carapace as well for his Lings. But anyways, all that aside, I did talk to a bunch of really smart Zergs about it. I brought up with Eon Zerg, and Bakuryu, I believe I spoke to him about it a little bit as well. And it didn't seem like something that's really super replicable. It was just, maybe it just kind of happened in that game or something, but I don't know. Hold my breath. Maybe Sulky can show us the magic of fast Adrenal glands once again.
Hey, Adrenal's a real headache to deal with in general, you know.
It's one of the best upgrades out there.
Oh, yeah,
so sick.
yeah. Well, if you catch the Protoss off at all, I mean, you know, let's compare an Adrenal run by to just a normal Speedling run by. I mean, the amount of stuff that gets killed is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
by the Harangi with a quick scout post pylon. So we're probably going to have the Forge expand here or the quick Nexus, but I think when you see the pool like that, you know, you got to get the Forge no matter what.
Totally.
And so there is that Forge. And the Probe is probably not going to get the block off here, I don't think. Oh, yeah, maybe he will, actually. I guess this is just spaced enough.
Oh, that's not. Drones do beat probes, though.
Yeah. Well, if the probe, I think if the Probe gets the first hit, then yeah, the Probe can win.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why you'll see a lot in PvZ, a lot of times one of the two players messes up in that fight over the hatchery at the natural. Is because obviously they both know, but if they caught it just off by a second and misread it, then you can end up losing that worker.
Yeah.
On either side.
And, well, with heavy micro as well, plasma shields come back quicker than Zerg health, so I guess you could use that, but, like, for instance, we just saw Sulky chase it down, because drones can do moving shots just like probes, so drone is definitely favored, and we see that there. So, kind of a mistake there from Harangi. You never want to lose that first scouting
No,
probe.
because if you lose that first scouting drone, there's a chance Zerg does one of these all-ins, you know, where they just throw a den down right away. And that's why we see immediately another probe is sent out. That's headed northbound now to confirm the location of the third base hatchery.
So you realize you can't quite get by right there, so we'll back up with the Zergling for now. Secondary probe trying to make a beeline here for the main. See if he gets up. Only one Zergling there, so yeah, no problem. Nice micro there by Sulky, though. Ooh,
Now,
you kidding me?
Now, this body blocking, yeah, the stuff like this is just, this is the Protos's nightmare, because if you lose this, then you just don't know.
You lose the second probe immediately.
In an ideal setting, if you were training, if you lost that second probe there, you should just like restart the game. You know, it's like, okay, hold on, I'm just off. I need to be able to navigate this game correctly from A to Z here.
Tournament games, though, sometimes stuff like that happens.
That does happen. You better have some pretty good instinct then when it does happen.
You kind of have to guess at that point.
Okay, so the probe
sometimes.
sees the layer.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe this probe will be able to get in anymore, so there's still actually a pretty good opening here if Sulky wants to just dive onto a certain tech. I don't think he will, but
yeah,
you know, this ambiguity in this phase of the game, you know, it's right when the Stargate's about to come down here. You're trying to have just enough to defend against kind of everything. And we don't see any den thrown down. It looks like Sulky wants to play a pretty straight-up PvZ here.
Yeah.
Tech into that Spire. Have an answer for the Corsairs.
Not too surprised to see.
Now, let's remember that in our last PvZ that we had, Harangi went into Corsair, then Reaver, then Master Goons, which is one of the more off-brand strats. It's still good to pull out because sometimes the Zergs just won't be ready for it, even if they see the Robo. But he did not execute it correctly. He lost Corsairs early, he lost Reavers and Shuttles early, and that meant that his push was not going to be as good. Let's see if he gets a Robo this time around. I imagine no matter what, he will not be doing that Dragoon Reaver Corsair push, as that's not really a build you can do over and over. If people are aware of, they sort of just...
It's a little bit map specific too, and this doesn't even feel in any way like a good map for
The third is not going to be pushed. If you were going to do it on this map, you'd be trying to push the natural, but again, there's a bridge there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem likely. Now, sometimes the unlikely strategy can be strong on maps, even where it's not supposed to be good, just because the other player just doesn't expect it at all.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, the player got a little bit too greedy because they didn't factor that in. But now we have the Citadel of Adun down. We'll have a Templar Archive shortly after that.
And everything looks pretty normal here from Harangi. Sulky as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he's going to be going into Mutalisks or anything like that. Just a few Scourge getting into his hatcheries as well.
We want to watch. I'm sorry, there's a Robo Bay behind us. I actually almost didn't see that because the tab on the map kind of covers it up. But
is he rushing into a drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to...
what type of drop, though? Is it
this
DT
is,
drop
do you,
or is it
do
a
you
High
remember,
Templar
do you remember the game that Larva lost?
Yeah.
Against Rain?
Yeah.
So the idea is that Zerg, they have to scout with Scourge in this type of situation. Now, what Rain did is he hit it outside of his
that's
base.
why I thought it was so strong.
This is just hidden in the bottom right, which just, it's hard to think. Because if you look, if we get another shot, I can show you the cannon. It's just below this screenshot. The cannon is actually to the left of the Nexus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
And so that's like not the ideal spot, but if you actually just... Okay, so now see it's shot down.
You know what?
So
that cannon though?
Yeah. But that's the whole idea, is because it's placed there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
brilliant.
not likely. Now Zerg might look at that and go like, this guy's an idiot. He should have put that on the other side.
Well, I think you look at that and say there's tech back there. So he flies the second Scourge in
so here we go.
immediately.
Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a scout.
Yeah.
I like it. Like, I like what Harangi tried, but it's still kind of obvious.
The
because that
problem is
cannon doesn't make
it's
sense.
not going to work against the best Zerg in the world.
Yeah.
That's why Rain hid this against Larva, specifically on a map where it's like, Zerg won't see this. And so, I mean, let's see what happens, but...
Second Forge. I guess he's getting ready for his transition at this point, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think... I mean, the thing is just not going to work. Let's see if he makes a shuttle anyways. Wow.
What's with the third cannon, by the way?
I'm sorry, where is the third cannon?
You made the third cannon at the front.
Sometimes if they're going 6-hatch Hydra, they can bust you anyways, even when you get Storm when you do this.
Well, this is 5, right?
But I don't think he knows that.
Oh, okay.
If you notice, he's compensated for what happened in the last game, where he was losing Corsairs to Scourge. He's been pretty timid with them. He's kind of staying outside of his base and fighting stuff out here. Oh boy. So yeah, if they go 6-hatch, they can actually have enough where they will just occasionally run you over. And so I think the extra cannon is just enough so that you can combo that with Storm and maybe hold on. Because when you go for a Dark Templar drop, you spent gas on both DTs and a Robo, so you actually don't have... The Storm is considerably late. And so sometimes you'll just get completely run over. Like, it looks like it should never work, but it actually does. They just kind of... You storm the Hydras and they just run back, and then they go there and kill your cannons. You know.
Well, with the amount of gates he's getting and the fact that he has 2 Forge spinning right now, it's going to be 7 gate, High Templars, obviously lots of Zealots and the 2 Forges. I feel like with the 2 Forges you want to take a third base, or is he trying to... Is like 2-1 an actual timing attack that you do in this matchup? I haven't seen it, I don't think, so I feel like this should be a third base build, but maybe I'm...
I know. I think he wants to power. I think you can't take a third base at all for a little while here. I think getting the gateways is the only thing you can do, because Zerg wants to fight. If you're taking a third base here, then the Mutas will kill your Templars, and then the Hydras will kill you. Like right now, this is like what I guess what we call in StarCraft 2 is like a battle Zerg. Like he's actually like looking for the Protoss army to come out. He's got Scourge, so Corsairs are a little bit intimidated. He's got Mutas, which are purposely designed to assassinate the Templars.
Yeah.
And here we go. See, every Templar he gets is a headache. And with this number of Mutas, you can kind of just ignore a lot of the cannons and the Corsairs. And you're just trying to find Templars. So any stray Templar, I'm surprised, I guess I don't know what he's doing with those. I don't know why those are going up there. But
I'm not sure.
so you're staying on 2 bases, because Zerg is not going to get a 4th for a while now. This is 6-hatch Hydra.
Oh, he is on 6-hatch now?
Yeah, there's 3 hatches in the, the 12 o'clock, and then there's 2 in the natural and 1 in the main. So, I mean, eventually you'll take a 3rd, right? But you're not in any hurry to.
Okay.
Because you have all the tech you need. You got your Robo, right? You got your Robo early. You didn't make a shuttle. You're going to have observers. You're getting like Dragoon range. Okay, you have 2 Forges here.
So you're just looking for good trades into the army?
Yeah, because Zerg needs to pick a fight here.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to try to take this fight. I don't see Templars with this just yet, because I think he's comfortable trying to fight this over the bridge. But the Mutas are looking specifically for Templars, because the Hydras can basically beat the ground army. Now, I'm sorry, where are these Templars still?
Yeah, it's a really good question. They went up to the main base. They're slow, I know, but they should be coming down.
Okay, here they come.
I feel like Harangi has just been a little bit sloppy today overall compared to his opponents.
Yeah, he might want to tear his gate down here to get his army out. This is like...
that is a wonky place to try to get this many Dragoons out of.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You know, Dragoons by themselves actually move pretty freely. Dragoons with the rest of the Protoss units don't. And again, no 4th base here. In fact, this DT's going to snipe the hatchery. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, if he does this just right, he can actually kill it. Oh my god, Sulky's so good. Okay. Anyways, there it is. The gateway's gone. He's going to try to push out now.
Harangi is outsupplied right now by Sulky, which is pretty amazing.
He does have a lot of Psystorm, though. Look at that. He already got Kadarian Amulet, even.
Right.
That's crazy. He has so many Psystorms right now.
Right.
He has like 3 per High Templar.
That's why we didn't see that third base taken. He's basically just sitting on this and banking up a lot. He's trying to get enough that it's like the don't F with me army.
Yeah.
That if you come in here, you will pay a price.
So I think the tricky part here is, like, if he attacks, he gets counterattacked over the bridge, right? So that's...
Well, he should have enough that he can defend both. He should have Templars back there, too.
Okay, so he's going to make Sulky come out and deal with him, then.
You're basically only making Dragoons and Templars, and then when you have enough of that, you go back into Zealots.
Ooh, good dodge on that Storm. Barely taking damage on his Mutas. That was 1-0 against 2-1, so Harangi has a pretty big upgrade advantage. 2 upgrades is pretty significant.
Okay, he's beginning to edge out. The Zealots can kind of sort of fight those Hydras as they try to cross the bridge, but you eventually have to go back to those cannons. Now, I think all Zerg needs to do is deny a third base here, and you can do that by just sniping Templars. Okay, so he sees the location of those Templars. Harangi's playing pretty well so far, though.
Yeah, some good storms coming down. The Hydra flank can't do anything. Looks like he's going to be able to kill off a bunch of these Hydras as well.
In the cycle of counters, the Templars counter the Hydras, the Mutas counter the Templars, and the Dragoons kind of can be a deterrent for the Mutas hitting the Templars.
Yeah.
So it's sort of this weird circle. A couple missed storms here.
He's done so well at sniping High Templars.
As long as the Hydra count is kept low, the Zerg can't win. But once the Hydra count gets high enough and there's no storms, that's the killing move here for Zerg.
Oh, the storm count is definitely going down. Oh my god, the Muta's coming in for another assassination here. Huge flank coming in. I think that might be it for Harangi.
Yeah, this is 6-hatch play at its finest. Now, Protoss cut some corners here, and he's paying the price for it. That DT drop was spotted.
Yeah, that's true. That's an important thing to remember, is he set up a whole tech he never ended up using. He didn't build anything out of his robo at the end of the day. I liked when he threw down the second Forge and everything. I always liked 2 Forge play, but wow.
GG.
Not able to get away with that one.
Harangi is getting outclassed so far here. It's not over yet. He still has, if he wins 2 more games, then yeah, I mean, he'll move on, but I just don't see it happening. Sulky makes it look easy. If you guys want to study that style of play for Zerg, that's the game to look at. I mean, he really had a good grasp on exactly what to do.
That was super strong.
You know, and I think if you're going to hide the Robo down there, and you're going to have a cannon out there like that, you need to have your Corsairs ready to cover the other blind spot. Oh, you have 2 Corsairs there.
Yeah.
I think you can kill that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it feels like his Corsairs were just behind the Scourge as it went down, wasn't it? Like
yeah,
they were
chasing
above
it.
his natural or something.
Now, maybe that tells you something, too. I don't know. I mean, this is where we're getting really technical.
The cannon itself told him something. He was like, okay, what are you? That's a stupid placement.
I was saying in that cast, I mean, most players look at that and say, that idiot, he should have that either right, you know, by the Stargate and the minerals, but Sulky got the read.
Fight.
Now playing in Neo Ground Zero.
So we have Harangi in the top right. Sulky top left. You know, as soon as this map came into the ladder map pool, first thing I thought to myself, how in the hell does Protoss ever get a third gas here against Zerg?
This is one of the big things about certain maps. I guess the map that is kind of the origin point of us really learning a lot about Protoss versus Zerg is actually this garbage dumpster map called Nostalgia, where, you know, I like what the map makers were thinking about is they thought, okay, well, what if we just don't have a gas at a natural? What then? You know, let's see how this pans out. Turns out Zerg can just totally annihilate Protoss. Because Protoss,
you just have to have gas.
Yeah, I mean, Zealots are not terrible, but you just need gas in this matchup in a way that you don't need gas in other matchups, as much at least.
Yeah.
And it turns out Zerg just don't need gas as much in that matchup as I think any other matchup. You know, they can just go Lings and Hydras and
Yeah, well,
zealots.
this is the matchup where Zerg needs minerals and Protoss needs gas.
Right.
Where
yeah.
a lot of other matchups, like for instance against Terran, it's all about securing your third gas and securing your fourth gases.
Right. With Protoss, it's about securing the second gas.
Yeah, and well, with Protoss against Terran, for instance, right? It's much more about the minerals. It's like, oh, you'll take a mineral only as third, no problem.
No, you can always kind of play around that. Like, let's say that, like, Nostalgia, again, another terrible map for Terran against Protoss, where it's like, well, I'll just keep making Dragoons. This pans out quite nicely for me. I can actually beat your Vulture tank army with just Dragoons.
I know you don't have a dropship because then you won't have any siege tanks.
Yeah. But on this map, it's a little bit different, right? Protoss has the second gas. Okay, and I appreciate that they're experimenting with maps like this. I think it's really important for the game. Even maps like Sparkle that make my stomach hurt in certain matchups watching. I think it's important we put it out there and we kind of see what happens. Because we can theorize all you want on forums and stuff like that, but really you need to have the very best in the world play it out. But on this map, it's okay for the Protoss in some ways, because as long as you're on 2 bases with gas, it's manageable. It used to be, and I think this is true for a lot of the matchups, it used to be that you wanted really badly to get a third base right away in PvZ. You were kind of trying to push out and make cannons and cover your third, and that's the old school way. Keep in mind, this game's 20 years old, guys. The modern approach is to power on 2 bases almost always. And this is especially true against, for instance, that 6 hatchery play. Literally, like, 6 hatch play counters any attempt to play a macro game. So you want to power up. I think there are solutions here for the Protoss, but I think what's more important is, can they stop the Zerg from getting a 4th if they're going to power on 2 base? You know?
Yeah.
And so I wonder if on this map it's best for Zerg to try to take, well, I guess it's beating me to it. I was going to say try to take another natural, but I guess not.
Yeah, I've seen like a slight shift away from that. Sulky's actually one of the big guys that was doing that other natural a lot, and I think it's actually because of, like, I understand what you mean about trying to prevent the 4th base, which can be hard for Zerg to get, but these giant 2-base roaming armies that we've seen, if you take the base that's further away, it feels like the Protoss will be able to force a mistake no matter what. So we very rarely see that right now.
Yeah, it was a thing for a while here. Now, if you are forced to take a mineral-only base, one thing you can do, because on 3 bases, one of the units that's pretty manageable to just keep making is Reavers. Reavers kind of answer
yeah, you've mentioned
mineral
this before
bases.
With the mineral-based question, because we've seen like a lot of circuit breakers and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone try that, the 3 base with Reaver.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone just is like, you know what I'll do? More Zealots! And then eventually there's Lurkers out and they lose.
Yeah. And I mean,
I would like to see that, though.
I might be way off base with it.
Because Reavers are a mineral-heavy unit. People don't think about that too much because they're kind of a high-tech unit.
I think people kind of forget that you're spending money on Scarabs the whole time.
Yeah,
and it's 200 minerals, 100 gas. Yeah,
and they need
and it pairs with a shuttle.
Times.
Yeah,
so it's like very much a mineral unit.
If you even want to take it a step further, it also pairs well with a battery. So it's like, you know, it's probably.
You also need pylons for the spy force. So it's like,
exactly,
I mean,
and you need probes to mine minerals to get for the Scarab.
Crazy.
So I mean, it's all, it all just comes together.
I almost feel like he should take his natural as one of the mineral bases. Because who even needs gas?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think
the mind games are crazy there. I was actually looking at you, Artosis. Did we see tech? Is it a layer coming up here for Zerg?
Oh, got me tasted.
Who knows?
I just stare at you the whole time.
Yeah. Now, if it is a layer, it looks like we're having, again, the same Templar tech here. I highly doubt we're just going to have the Robo again.
No. There's no way he's going to try that twice.
It's so funny when you watch Harangi, who's such a great player, play this compared to Rain. Where Rain is just like...
everything he does is just a bit more thought out, because it was the same type of thing like you brought up with the game against Larva, I believe it was, yeah? And but Rain was like, well, I can't place my cannon wrong because Larva will know something's up. Whereas Harangi's like, the Scourge can't scout it now. It's like it's a different world.
Yeah, yeah. So the Corsair's going to come out here for it's so true, too.
The nuance of, like, the championship Protoss compared to...
like a top 10 Protoss in the world?
Yeah, Harangi's a top 10 Protoss.
But this is what's so funny
Rain's
about
the best,
StarCraft
so it's,
is that
there is such a difference in just the top 10 players when you look at it.
Dude,
and they're all so good.
You look at like top 5 and compare them to the 5 below them, it's insane the difference.
Oh yeah.
Like you look at like Flash and Rain and Last and Sulky, and you know, you try to compare that to whoever you want below, it's like, oh my god, like come on.
Yeah, Action's another one where I'm
We're all playing different games here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Corsairs are continuing to come out, and I think Harangi probably has adjusted. How many Scourge are actually with us? This is going to be the snipe build. This is the build. Okay, so he's going to come in here. Now, if the cannon's not done, usually this build will just work. Okay, so.
Whoa. Oh, still gets it. Okay,
yeah.
Well.
So
2 Corsairs against a lot of mutas.
I'm sure if you guys have played PvZ, you've probably lost to this on the ladder. This is basically a moment where it's like, I guess you could call it, if you wanted me to be serious, it's a snowball build. Basically, the mutas can kill the cannons as they warp in, and the Scourge just immediately counter the Corsairs coming out. And what this means is that Protoss loses the main. You just can't control it. The probes are pulled, and most of the important tech is almost always in the main because there's not enough room in the natural. And when you kill off all their tech, you kill off the Nexus, you kill off the Stargate.
Yeah.
He's going to try to snipe that Templar, I think. Oh, this is actually pretty ambitious. A lot of times we'll see them just try to take the main here. So this Archon's going to be made. Now, real quick here, a lot of times they try to get the Templars before they come down, but I guess he didn't get away with it. But anyways, the Archon, you would think, counters the mutas, right? Because if you watch an Archon fight a bunch of mutas, the Archon kills it. But the mutas are actually faster, and they actually have one more range.
The range difference is tiny between them, but you can micro-mutas against an Archon.
And you can basically...
We might even see him do that for style points.
Yeah. Now, the Corsair's out, so maybe Harangi reclaims this.
Yeah.
Part of this takedown maneuver is that you're supposed to snipe the Templar as it comes out, too. Because the one Templar comes out of the gateway at the natural, the other Templar... See this? You see this is what my games look like against my brother when I was a kid.
Yeah, but
like
actually
exactly
when
like
this happens to you, you normally make one very sad Dragoon instead of trying to get an Archon.
You know me. GG.
All right, so...
Okay. By the way, I think the Archon accidentally attacked the Corsair. Did you see that at the end?
Oh, did it?
Yeah. I might be wrong, but I'll have to go back and check the VOD. But yeah, basically, you have to make sure your cannon is up and your Corsairs are ready to help defend. The moment you see the mutas coming, you have the second cannon making. So that's all she wrote there for Harangi. But now we've got a ZVZ coming up.
Yeah, to see if we're going to have a playoff for Sulky's spot or Saxory will make it to his big round of 8. Harangi, unfortunately, everyone talked a lot of trash on him.
Yeah, and then he died.
And then he died
story.
exactly like everyone was kind of saying.
Yeah.
But he's Harangi. He's actually a very good player. And
look, this was a tough group, and he's done well in KSLs. I think this is just another stepping stone towards him improving as a player.
Yeah, he's a very good player. It's just, this is a Sulky and Flash. I mean, what can you do?
Coming up, the last match in the round of 16, Saxory versus Sulky, a ZVZ. Don't go away.
Minh ba ninh thật Tin kayo kau siang kam
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
What'd you do to get in there?
Can Annabelle come out to play?
She got out. She's a beacon for other spirits.
첫 번째 세트 시작하겠습니다. 바로 잡아먹으러 갑니다.
워낙 드라군 숫자가 많기 때문에
너무 과감한데요?
네,
여기서 붙어줄 수 있는 송병구의 드라군입니다.
각기 격파를 하려고 했던 거예요. 저 드라군 두 기로 여러 드라군들을
일단은 기본 병력에서 좀 차이가 날 때는 뒤로
터졌어요.
지금 빠져나간 드라군을
셔틀도 터졌어요. 리버 결국 터집니다.
그 드라군 둔기에 너무나도 신경을 GG.
두 번째 세트 오버워치에서 시작하겠습니다.
한번 노려보려고 하고 있어요. 막으면 이깁니다.
네. 확보되어 있어요. 자, 셔틀 다시 한번 1.4 빼주고 있고.
네.
살렸어요.
네, 리버.
셔틀의 체력은 많이 빠졌는데
리버가.
결국은 살렸고.
홍병호 선수의 리버가 아직도
리버. 네.
너무 빠져 있었습니다.
리버 잡힙니다. 하나의 드라군 모두 녹았습니다.
그런 싸움을 하다 보니까 리버가 아무것도 못했죠.
그렇습니다. GG 멀티버스에서 시작하겠습니다.
게이트웨이를 더 늘렸습니다.
네, 딱 이거죠. 그렇다면 나도 그거.
숫자는 거의 비슷해요. 드라군 6기.
3게이트 선택을 했기 때문에 내가 일단은 병력이 보이면 싸워야겠다 생각을 했는데 이게 들어오는 쪽에서 좁은 구역이긴 하거든요.
네, 게다가 이 드라군들이 돌고 있었어요.
네. 자, 장윤철이 병력 싸움에서 이득을 조금씩 보고 있습니다.
네. 그쪽 그 드라군을 끌어들이는 거예요.
자, 빠지는
수밖에 없죠.
예, 빠지는 동선에
이때
자, 여기서 이게 빠지지 않았어요.
위치 확인하고 입구 쪽 한번 잡아볼만 한데요. 많이 먹은 입장에서 자 먼저 시비를
아, 드라군이 더 있었습니다.
먼저 먹었기 때문에 아래쪽에 먼저 먹었기 때문에 좀 공격적인 포지션으로 나왔는데
셔틀 터집니다.
이 병력이 얼마만큼 어디에 있는지를 몰랐던 거예요.
자, 리버 두기 그대로 생존해 있고 본진에서 나오고 있는 드라군도 좁은 길목에서 다가오고 있습니다.
리버까지 포함된 병력이 좀 너무 대패를 해버렸기 때문에
GG 첫 번째 세트 준비 끝났습니다. 오버워치에서 시작하겠습니다. 옥저버의 경로에 딱 걸렸어요.
딱 마주치네요.
분위기 자체를 모르다 보니까 여기에 또 너무 크게 반응을 하게 된다면 뭐 이렇게 프로브를 보낸다던가
3개 잘라줬습니다.
일단은 뭐 약간 그 치어리딩 개념으로 그냥 내버려 두는 것 같고요.
그렇진 않았습니다.
저 프로브를 태워가는 것이 아니라
프로브 현재 들어왔거든요. 이 모든
아래쪽
자,
와! 근데 무빙
한 번 더.
와 이거 잘 피했어요 나름.
그래서 위에 3군데
도재욱 선수는 이거 모르는 게 나을 수도 있나요?
아니 알아야
되네 이 정도면.
고민을 안 하게 되잖아요. 저걸 보잖아요. 저 로보틱 부셔야 되나?
대규모
싸우다 보면 내가 많이 먹고 있는데 상대가 병력이 왜 더 많지 생각하는 시점은 사실 좀 늦을 수 있거든요.
자, 물량의 도재욱 보여줄 수 있을까요? 네.
장윤철 선수가 돈을 좀 많이 남기는 편이거든요.
그 머리에 뿌려주고 물량은 도재욱 선수가 조금 더 많아 보이는데요.
이렇게 되면 많이 먹은 그런 의미가 사라져 버립니다.
하이템플러의 스톰이 얼마만큼 적중률을 보이느냐에 따라서 다른데 자, 스톰을 좀 더 갖고 있고요.
더 쓸 수 있는 도재욱
이러면 그러니까 인구수는 장윤철이 훨씬 많아요.
1.4 해주겠습니다. 넥서스 파괴.
중앙에서 이 병력 싸움에서도 쉽지 않고 퇴로도 거의 차단되어 있고요.
하이템플러 한 기까지 힘을 내주고 있고 GG 두 번째 세트 시작하겠습니다. 그리고 본진 쪽에 프로브
와 몸으로 막았어요.
그렇죠.
자, 드라우 숫자
이거 위험한데요. 나 프로브반.
여기 리버 않았어요.
진보 탔던 게
터졌나요?
예, 그게 리버였었던 것 같습니다.
그런데 셔틀 리버를 터치고 있는 도재욱입니다.
게다가 투리버.
자, 그리고 양방향에서 투리버.
네.
드라군 수비해주고 있고요. 리버 한 개가.
와 드라군이 대신 맞아줬어요.
네.
이거 무조건 막아야 되는데요, 장윤철은.
남았고 드라군 2개 남았습니다.
네.
억지로라도 막아내야 돼요.
그렇죠. 지금 12시에 들어간 본진에 들어간 병력은 12시에 떨어졌었던 질럿이 뒤로 돌아가서 지금은 들어간 걸로 보이고 안바닥 쪽에서의 리버는 일단은 걷어냈습니다.
소유인이 스피드를 계속
놓치지 않네요.
아까 때려놨던데 또 때렸습니다.
결국 이 넥서스는 그냥 내줄 수밖에 없는 상황이 돼버렸습니다.
일단 좁아서 오재욱 선수가 들어가는 길목이 더 좁아서요. 돌아요 드라군들이. 자 3리버 풀딜 뽑아낼 수 있어요.
그렇죠.
캐논도 건설을 지금은 해놨고
거의 다 이었어요.
들어가질 못하네요.
GG 블록체인에서도 장윤철이 승리하면서 장윤철이 최종전을 뚫고 8강전으로 갑니다.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to wrap things up with a Zerg versus Zerg. And, I think some of you might be just auto-expecting Sulky to move on. I'll tell you what, sometimes he loses ZVZs.
Well, I tell you what, no matter what you're expecting, he's not moving on. Well, he is moving on, but not to the round. Even if he wins here, he's going to the military.
This is true. He wants to win here and go out with a hoorah.
Yeah.
In his last pro game before he has to finish his military service.
That's right. His last professional match right now. The thing is, he'll probably come back professionally after military service. Everyone's doing it nowadays. It's all the rage.
Even though everybody on the internet was wrong and thought that when you get older you couldn't play this game, they all still continue to play on.
So we are going to go to Neo Silphid, a ZVZ for the final match in the round of 16.
Now playing in Neo Silphid.
Saxry up at the top. Sulky gonna be in the bottom. Right.
So it's a 3-player map. We have Sulky headed to the north, so he will find Saxry, excuse me, right away. I started doing it again. I started saying Saxry.
Well, you always have. Like, you played StarCraft 2 professionally at a high level for a long time, and you just always Saxry, and then you came back here
and every time
like,
I say it, my
but now
iPhone,
you just fixed it.
Every time I say it wrong, my iPhone looks at me like, "What did you say?"
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. We have Saxry. Wait, how do I say it?
Saxry.
Saxry, thank you. We have Saxry going to the bottom left with the first Overlord. That is not where Sulky is. Sulky, fortune's on his side. He goes to 12 o'clock, which is where Saxry resides.
Yes. I thought for a moment there you were going to call him Soul Siri.
Soul Siri, it's hard.
Soul Siri
something
versus
in my
Saxry.
brain struggles with this word. I don't know.
Okay, so a 9 pull from Sulky. Saxry looks like, what is this, gas? Right. So quick gas into a pool afterwards. So from what I've heard, gas hatch is not a build in ZVZ. You were schooling me on that the other day.
Generally not.
Yeah.
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm open to new builds, but basically you have to, if you get a gas, get a pull.
So this was like gas over pull.
No, there's a lot of different ways you can time out gas and pull here. And we saw, I believe it was with Action, he went for a very early pull, or extractor, excuse me.
I think that's the same build that Saxry is using.
And I think, exactly, I think that's what we're having here. And remember that when you scout them, you cannot click on their extractor and see how much gas has been mined. This is one of the things I actually like about StarCraft 1 over StarCraft 2, is that certain buildings don't have animations, certain buildings don't give you all the information.
Yeah,
and it allows for new strategies that you can get away with.
That's right. That's right.
I think from a game developer standpoint, they'd say, "Oh, we need to fix that." I go, "Whoa. Okay."
I like that there's
concealing some stuff is good.
Yeah, and there's some very creative concealing things. Like once upon a time, there was actually a pro match because again, you can't check the geysers and stuff. Well, actually, I guess once you click on a geyser, you can see how much is in it. But someone actually, this is unrelated to what we were just talking about, but I want to bring it up. Once upon a time, there was a ZVZ where the guy like mined his 100 gas and then killed his own extractor to make it look like a different build.
Yeah,
and then killed
I know
him,
about
and it was,
that
like,
game.
Super sick, and you actually could click.
But the odds of you
that,
ever clicking on a gas, like, well, I better make sure he didn't kill his extractor and do a different build.
It's only done. It was only done once.
So these links have gone around this Overlord, which means that Saxry might be in a bad position, as if Ling's speed finishes, these Lings might be able to bust into the entrance of the main. Keep in mind, guys, Ling's speed, it's not just about Lings being faster. The speed Lings always beat the slow Lings. Always. That was like the first thing I ever learned in StarCraft. With some Korean guy getting Ling speed and I didn't, I thought, no, it's fine. I'm just going to stay back. And then he just ran me over.
No, Ling speed is a very good upgrade.
I asked him in English. I said, Ling speed always beat slow Ling? And he says, okay.
That means
and I said, yes, that means yes. If you were
That's Korean for yes.
That was Korean for yes at the time. Was okay meant yes.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of Lings coming up right now, but Saxry actually has a nice concave.
Yeah, if you can keep him at this tight little angle here. Oh. Hard to bust in. Oh, bad pairing there.
Yeah. Sulky's starting to break through a little bit. Oh my god. 3-1 left over. Yeah, he's not going to quite get it.
So, this is one base play. One base, layer speedling play, ZVZ, is an interesting one because you're kind of low on everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, Saxry, sorry guys, I can't do this. This is funny because like you're low on drones, you're low on Lings, you're low on mutas, you're even low on Overlords, okay?
Don't have much anything.
You don't have much of anything. Like you kill one Overlord, it's like, oh my god, he has half the supply limit now. And so you want to watch for everything from Ling run-bys to who's going to take a natural to everything. So Saxery is going to attempt to claim the natural. And Sulky is continuing to put pressure on this. Again, really good lane control here. Looks like Sulky just barely comes out on top. Now, again, guys, Lings heal over time. So if you start to get a few good micro fights and your Lings start to add up, it's pretty bad for the other player.
Ooh, Saxery taking a bit of damage here on these drones. He's got to be careful at this. I think those are mutas building right now.
They must be, because I think Lings would have hatched by now,
yeah,
right?
Just about anything would have hatched by now.
One mutt. But the thing is, this mutt, these two mutts have to defend the drones while these Lings deny the hatchery. Beautifully done.
Yeah, very nicely done there by Sulky. But look at his supply right now. It's just 12. He's got to get something done with these Lings. Ooh, just save that drone. Well, I mean, he holds on.
But two Lings. This is the problem, is that Lings are better at pinning in these situations than mutas are.
Yeah.
The mutas, in theory, if there wasn't enough mutas backing up, could start to murder drones. Now, Saxery has enough mutalisks. Oh, does he send them all out, though? Oh, I think you got to leave, like, one back, right? Maybe not, though. Maybe you can just hold it with drones, because you know he eventually has to make mutas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here's the one mutt.
Well, yeah, leave the one muta at home, fight with the drones, and send your mutas across. Oh, he turned all of his mutas around, though. Oh, my God. I feel like this was a very indecisive moment. He loses 2 extra drones. This could have been an opportunity for him to do something. He has so many more mutas.
Scourge play an interesting factor here. Again, there's no second hatchery that's finished yet. So it's like every larva, there's no matchup where it's like, oh, he can only get one of each of these units at this certain rate, right? It is, so every larva, every time you see Scourge connect, it's a big deal. Every time they don't connect, it's a disaster for the Scourge user, of course. It seems like, okay, I think that, to be honest, we're seeing one player who is way cooler than the other one as far as keeping
That was
it
actually
together.
a trick to make an extra unit.
Oh, my bad, dude.
Yeah, no problem.
He was actually doing that to open up his supply, make one more drone. I thought he was like going to try to make a second colony and freak out.
That would be a pretty bad
My
location
bad,
for
everybody.
it.
My
It's
bad.
okay. He's got 8 mutas right now, so that is a significant mutalisk advantage. Oh, man. Yeah, no, even if all these Scourge were to hit.
Yeah, now mutas can be microed against Scourge, but these Scourge need to be almost moved through this so they can actually get on top. Good pull-aways here.
And some of them are hitting.
Oh, any of these mutas will be one-shot by a Scourge. Okay, so now it's one muta left, one Scourge left on, I'm sorry, 2 Scourge left over here for Sulky, now one on both sides, sniped, and that should be the killing move. GG.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And sorry about not seeing that creep colony as a drone trick.
That's all right. I tell you, most of my ZBZ casting, I'm just like, I'm like a guy that's getting surprised by the temperature of the tub he's about to get in. That's basically my ZBZ cast.
Yeah. The matchup does move at a pretty fast pace. Okay, but I will say overall, you've even seen that muta pullback. Sulky, cool as a cucumber in a lot of that, but Saxery comes through with great muta control. He was a little bit more patient there. And once you have 2 or 3 mutas that have won the fight and the other mutalisks are not out, you can keep sending Scourge from Saxery's position. And it just basically locks them out of defending against the muta rush. And of course, in a matchup where you almost never go over like 12 drones ever,
yeah,
get a few drone kills and that's all you need. Next map, Neo Ground Zero. That is ready now. Let's go.
Fight.
Now playing in Neo Ground Zero.
So Saxery in the top right. Sulky in the top left. Saxery getting the good scout, Sulky not.
I really enjoyed that last game. Excuse me.
It was kind of a nice one.
Choked there for a second. My throat's a little bit dry today. Yeah, like you don't always have games where it's one hatch versus one hatch play, but it's a lot of fun in ZVZ when you do have it, because both players are going to have a hard time ever really growing. You know, it's like, who's going to be the guy who's going to chicken out and make the hatchery first? You know?
Yeah. At some point, you got to feel like you can put that down. I like that. I like this quick gas build that we're seeing a little bit of, by the way.
Yeah.
Just getting that Mutalisk advantage can be so ridiculously strong.
And not just that, but it also enables that quick gas player to get the initiative in a matchup that is already one that ramps up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You've got your Ling speed out. You can try to go for a fight. You can try to, you can still get your layer up. Because any player who's going to be a little bit too greedy and play, I think, what's usually viewed as a more conventional approach to ZVZ, they can be punished.
This game, both players going for just a straight-up 9 pool. No gas before or anything. Looks like Saxry will be the first to take his gas.
I think we should see gas. Yeah, we should see gas over here. I don't think there's any other build where you can go 9 pool and not get gas.
No, that would be
You're like, I'm going to get
bad.
slow Lings and die to everything else. Cool.
What are you looking to counter? He's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I just like Lings.
Yeah. Oh, gas. You know, I'm not mining minerals, then.
I've got more minerals for this hatchery I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
How about that?
All right, so mirrored builds. We'll see if Sulky can do a bit better this time.
One thing that's, I know that we have people that are still trying to learn StarCraft 1. And by the way, it's never too late to try to learn this game. It's still huge.
Well, it just will never go away.
It will
It's
never
a
go away.
complete classic, and it's like, if you want to better yourself via playing video games, this is the one, actually, because it is the hardest. So it's a great way to learn discipline and how to learn and all those great things.
It'll help you in any other game. So one little tip for you guys that are still trying to learn and develop in this game, you need to have every drone on the right patch. And you can go online and figure some of this stuff out. There's I think Liquipedia has a pretty good resource for this.
Yeah.
But you can learn which patches mine more efficiently than others. Certain patches make other workers arc.
Yeah, and there's
more.
certain patches you can fix arcs on with mineral boosting and stuff.
By the way, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Saxery has gone around. By the way, his gas was slightly quicker, which means his speed is slightly quicker, which means his Lings will be stronger a little bit earlier, which is everything in the world in this matchup. And it looks like he might be able to actually sandwich Sulky's army.
Oh, this could be a big deal. Sulky trying to fight a battle while running away. Oh,
okay, and here's where you get the kill. Oh,
huge moment for Saxry.
Yep. Okay, so Sulky scrambling to get a sunken colony up here in time. Saxery freely able to get the Spire probably a little bit more quickly because of this.
Well, he's definitely got the initiative. He's got a lot of Lings in here. He forced that sunken very quickly. It's a hard situation here for Sulky. All right, he has some more Lings pop out. I almost feel like Saxry should pull back. Yeah. Good job, Saxry. This is such a big moment for him if he can defeat Sulky. Because, you know, I feel like if we go into, you know, the elimination, the kind of round robin-ish type thing of all the third place guys, which Saxry would be one if he loses Sulky here.
Right.
That's a hard one. You're playing against like Best and Rush and who's our other third place guy? Who cares?
Who? No, wait. Larva?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
Larva? Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're right, Larva.
I thought it was. Okay.
That's steep competition.
You see how scared I was to say that?
Yeah.
I've never been more afraid. I was like, am I wrong? I'm like,
Did he get last place? No, Mini got last place.
It's like,
in that
Jesus,
group,
he didn't even
surprisingly.
qualify for this tournament. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help. Yeah.
That would be funny. If
Yeah.
you name someone who did not
I'm
qualify.
like, innovation. You're like, he's a StarCraft 2
Tyson,
player. I'm
right?
like, I don't know.
It's Tyson.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not that.
I'm like, is it Hungry Box? You're like, no. It's impossible.
Is it Team Liquid's Civ 6 team?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Or
even
is
know
it-
if there's still a team tasteless. I
don't
didn't
know.
know that took off as an esport.
By the way, the Ling block here on the low ground is a really smart move by the Blue Zerg because you can just win a fight more easily with an arc like that. By the way, that forces the cancel on the third hatchery.
Yeah, I don't think he expected Sulky to make so many Lings at this point. Now, Saxry is the one sitting here trying to get his sunken up. Oh, wow, he's throwing another one down, too.
Oh my
Okay,
god,
he's
that
trapped
actually...
on his own
Oh,
ones.
it's an Evo chamber.
Yeah, I like
that's
it.
just a wall. He wants to buy anytime he can.
And he needs that time. But look at this. I mean, he buys a lot of time. His drone drill is going to be really strong here. The mutas pop out as well. 2 Scourge here. Saxtry with the sweet micro pulling away from the Scourge.
Oh, good assassinate on that one muta.
Eat Scourge.
Yeah!
That muta popped in. It's like, hey guys, I'm here. Eat Scourge.
That's why you're my favorite caster, Artosis. Now, they both have a sunken colony.
Sulky's catchphrase, man.
Other Zerg scum. So they both have a sunk up, so Ling Harass becomes a little bit more difficult. That should incentivize both sides to end up in the Zerg Air Arms race. 4 mutas here. What is it, 3? Yeah, 3 over here.
Yeah.
4 coming. I think there's actually a little bit more momentum here for Saxary, but not enough. I mean, it's in production, but maybe not enough to where he could ever fly across the map and have more mutas than Sulky staying back at home.
Well, it gets a little bit tricky, right? Because engaging, you're right on top of their hatchery, so they can have more units pop out to help you. But also, the Initiator has this small advantage in a lot of ways where things go wrong.
I want to point out how not helpful it is when our observer selects all the mutas. On the bottom right, I'm like, well, I don't know.
Actually, do they get different color boxes when they select them?
No, I don't believe they do.
So we just see a bunch.
We can just sort of see.
No, they do. White boxes versus blue boxes.
Wow.
It's actually tasty.
I'm 0 for 2 in this Zerg cast. Remember when
Oh
I
my
thought he
gosh.
made a mistake making the creep colony?
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I'm under house arrest on ZVZ casting, guys. I gotta go. I'm gonna be benched for this one.
What a fool.
So, third hatch gonna
I
come
actually
down
didn't
now.
even notice.
Or second hatch, excuse me.
Until like he still had Saxtry's muta selected and they had blue boxes. I'm like,
Yeah.
do they normally have blue boxes? When
I was like, larva? So, second hatch being made here. Sulky should have enough minerals to just take his own hatchery, but Sulky having the air dominance means he can take out the overlords on the map. Oh, did he accidentally hit that
Did
with a
he
Scourge?
hit that with a Scourge?
Qua? By the way, if you hit an overlord, I mean, there's almost no overlords on this game, okay? So every time you get one that's going to supply block the other player.
It's big, but to hit it with a Scourge is not.
It's not. No, you never want to hit it with a Scourge.
It's
under
so
almost
rare.
no circumstance.
I think we saw it one time this season where someone chose. Well, actually, I think one of the Scourge accidentally hit the Overlord. Then he's like, okay, and threw the other one into it. I believe that's what actually.
I would
happened.
imagine there's a very few rare situations where you're like, okay, if I just found this overlord with my Scourge and I know they're supply blocked, and I kill this one off, and they're on one hatch play, so therefore they can't get another overlord out. I'll lock them out and I'll kill them that way. But generally, no. So in that case, it was a mistake.
Okay, so Saxtry's sitting back here. He does have higher supply. Sulky's supply blocked right now. Oh, it looks like he actually did the creep tumor thing. Or not the creep tumor, the creep colony thing. 26-25.
Another overlord is going to bite the dust. Again, map control going to Sulky. By the way, the map is entirely darkened here.
Yeah,
he is now, he is blind and at home, which means Sulky is going to have so many opportunities to fly in from so many different angles and possibly kill so many drones.
Well, what angle does he end up choosing, right? You kind of expect him a little bit more to come from the left, but he's sweeping the bottom of the map right now. No drones at the natural yet, which is kind of important. Saxtry's supply blocked at the moment.
I think intelligently so. Saxtry is not sending any drones to his natural.
Yeah.
His hatchery can take some free shots. His workers cannot.
Yeah, and I don't think you even want to attack the hatchery.
Oh my god, just getting another overlord. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Larva?
Larva? Larva? Okay. He's going to hit these overlords. That baits a fight out here. And actually, this is going much better for Sulky. His Scourge stayed back. He controlled well. And now he should be able to put the kill on here. But let's see how good the control is from Saxtry. Now, there's actually more mutas here for Saxtry, but there's a Scourge which forced the mutas to micro away.
Oh, and if you start hitting those Scourge.
Wait, what?
3 against how many?
Whoa.
3 against 3, maybe?
I don't know. He's not going to show us.
No. He's like, yeah, but there's 4 Scourge. Yeah, I can count the Scourge. Thank you.
He clicks on the cockaroo. I'm like, you're really not helping. There's one cockaroo here.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. I I really thought that Sulky was going to close that out. The entire atmosphere after that fight happened, the entire atmosphere in the studio changed. Everybody got really quiet. Like, what?
Yeah, well, it was weird. All the Scourge, like, flying amongst each other, it looked like that really terrible air battle in Independence Day 2.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm just like, oh, yeah, everything's going everywhere. That's cool. Okay. I'm sure that's how it would look.
Remember that scene in Independence Day 2 where they have the giant alien that runs across the map naked? They're like, let's bring the biggest one of us and make him run naked over there. I'm like, well, you were probably better off in your spaceships just nuking buildings and not talking to us.
Nah, but they need to preserve the land because they want it tasteless.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's okay to have parts of the land you can't use if you just win the battle.
Can you imagine we were fighting aliens and we just had our biggest human get naked and just run over there and attack them? And we're like, it didn't work. We're like, damn, how do we get space travel and not see this one coming?
God.
He's not even like in a suit to protect him from, I don't know, germs and stuff. I mean, these aliens not get access to our, movie War of the Worlds. They not even see that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining, like, who is the biggest person? It's like a basketball player just
running out there naked. He's got a basketball, too, for some reason. Use this weapon.
That's his weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. So, Sulky, I think, is starting to get outclassed here.
I guess if it was like a bug planet, he was a lot bigger than all the bugs. I'm like, yeah, I guess so, but like at least give him boots.
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that was a terrible movie. That was another one they messed up. They've been messing up a lot of them lately. That one was no exception to the rule.
Certainly not.
In fact, that one proved the rule, I think.
I loved how they answered the question of what happened to Will Smith. They're like, because he was the star of the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just like, so what happened to Will Smith? They're like, I don't know, he died or something. Okay, let's keep going.
It seems like Saxby is going to try to attack across the map here. And I have to say, overall, his control seems to be just better. I know we haven't had a ton of games, but in the few we've had, seems to be going towards him.
Here goes that air battle again.
There it is. Everything's everywhere all the time. Oh, I don't know how to cast this. I don't know what's happening still. Maybe blue wins?
Yeah,
maybe?
I think so.
Maybe. Well, can you just select them all? Can we make you select them all? I know I said
there's more than 12.
Select most of them? Whoop.
All right, Saxry, go home.
He says not today, Artosis. Yeah, he is not taking any of your lap, Artosis. Oh! Ooh. I think he could actually close in here and kill him off. But one Zergling says otherwise on the other side of the map. 8 miles plan.
I know that one Zergling right now. It's so funny.
Got one shot.
It's like, no more gas for you.
Yeah. Okay. Act 3, go.
Oh. Sulky looking for Scourge hits right now. He is definitely way behind. I think that's it, Tasteless. I think Sulky is out.
Yeah. Well, hold on. There's a lot of Scourge here.
I don't think it's
the thing about Artosis' play-by-play casting is... Uh-oh.
Oh, now it's Toolings.
Yeah, man. 16 miles.
The one didn't get him. 16 miles.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so dumb. Oh my God. 16 miles.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this one up, boys. Still in the Overlords. GG.
All right, Saxry with a strong victory there.
Yeah. All right. Best cast of my career.
You did math on air too. You're something else.
I've upgraded. I'm as brave as that naked alien on Independence Day running across the map. And I'm smarter than that scientist in Independence Day one where he goes, release me. And the guy's like, wait a minute, hold on a second. And they like pan to the right. There's like a tentacle holding his neck. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
Okay. Unfortunately, Sulky, he wasn't going to move on anyways, but he did not end today with a victory. Saxry has won, and so Saxry moves on.
Hey, that's a big moment for him as well.
It is. Well, he keeps
Really cool to
improving. We're going to go now to an interview with Saxery and see how he's feeling. And when we're done, don't turn off the stream, okay?
Yeah,
You're going to be in big trouble with us because we have the selection for the final 8. It's going to be a quick little thing.
And we get a list of everyone that turns off the stream.
Yeah,
so
that's right. We know.
so you know.
And then we'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that. Okay, interview time.
ASL 시즌
Saxery
8의
catches the last
마지막
train
8강
to round of 8
진출자가
after
탄생했습니다.
beating Soulkey
이혜훈 선수
in the final
만나보겠습니다.
DBZ match.
축하드립니다.
Congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
와, 오늘 정말 끝까지 집중력
And
잃지
you regained your
않으면서
poise
ASL
and
시즌
you held it
8에서의
to the
도전
last
계속해서
moment
이어나가게
and you
되셨습니다.
finally secured your spot in the round of 8. This is your first
끝나고
time.
나서 약간 감격스러운
And it felt like the
감사지셨는데
feeling of euphoria was coming
어떤
to you
기분이
after that win.
드셨나요?
How did you feel?
그 경기 준비하기
Well,
전에
before the preparation,
안 좋은 일이 생겨가지고
I've had some bad things going on in my house, so it was hard to keep up with my mentality. But you know, after winning today's final match,
감정이 좀 복잡해가지고
I have mixed feelings right now.
좋기 좋은데
I'm happy.
굉장히 좋아요.
I mean, I'm just happy.
망감이 좀 교차하시는 것 같아요.
you said that you had
경기
mixed
준비하면서 여러 어려움들이
Did
있었을
you have some
텐데
hardship?
오늘
And I'm
올라가는
guessing you had some
과정 역시
hardship
쉽지만은
in the
않았거든요.
preparation.
이 최종전을
And today's
거쳐서
run was quite
올라가셨습니다.
arduous.
이경민 선수의 첫 번째 경기는
And in
좀
the first
무리
match
없이
against
승리를
Horangi,
하셨는데
you did win
이영호 선수와의
quite convincingly.
승자전에서 이 퀸 활약도
But in the
보여주시면서
winners
좋은
match
모습을
against Flash,
보여주셨지만
you did show good
패배했어요.
performance, but you
퀸
did
활약
slip,
같은 경우에는 이전에
unfortunately.
김민철 선수와의 경기를 좀 보면서 영감을
And
바로 받았나요?
영호가 그
In the
개인
match
방송에서
against Flash,
메카닉을 많이 하는 걸 보고
and I saw Flash playing a lot of mechanic
타이밍을 잡고 이제
in stream.
죽이려고
So I
끝내려고
did
이제
go for a timing attack
했는데
to exploit
제가
that.
조금 생각을 더
But
많이
then
해서
I was quite short
운영도 준비를
in
했어야
salt,
되는데 약간
and
좀
then I should have
부족했던 것 같고
sort of other things to do.
영호가 확실히 다른 테란이랑
And I
좀
definitely
많이
knew that
다른 것 같아요.
Flash was on a different class.
이영호 선수와의 승자전에서 패배하고 좀
After
흔들리지
losing
않을까 하는
to
생각을
Flash
했는데
in the winners
오히려
match,
더 각성한 듯한 움직임으로
it felt like you
김민철
regained your
선수의
poise,
수중전에서 승리를
and then you did
거두셨어요.
pick up a win, 2-0 win against Soulkey, and your mutal control was amazing.
이제 누구보다 그 어떤 저그 선수보다 뮤탈만큼은 좀
And it
내가
felt
잘
like
쓸 수 있다
you're
이런
superior in
자신감 있지
terms of
않으신가요?
mutalist control over any other
제가
Zerg players.
개인적으로 그냥
But personally,
뮤탈리스트 컨트롤은
in terms of mutal control,
굉장히, 저그전이든 테란전이든 토스전이든 다
whether it
자신
be
있어가지고
ZBP, ZBT, ZBZ,
뮤탈만
I have the
나올 수 있는
confidence.
상황이 된다면 누구를 만나도
And
컨트롤로는
in terms of mutalist control, I have the confidence to not lose to anyone.
잘
And I was able to play well today.
이 16강에서 또 이혜훈 선수가 커다란 자신감을
In the round
안고
16,
8강에
you
올라갈
gained a
수
lot
있게
of confidence,
됐습니다.
and now you
모든
make it to the
종족을
round of 8.
상대하면서 또 8강에 진출하셨잖아요.
And you did play all
8강에서
races
역시
today.
모든 종족을 만날 수 있는 가능성이
And in the round of 8,
열려
there's
있습니다.
chance that you're gonna meet all races
김성대 선수,
again.
정윤종 선수. 상대들이 굉장히 다
And
쟁쟁한데
all the other
그래도 좀
competitors are
만나고 싶은
very, very
상대가
prominent, strong players. Who do you want to meet?
개인적으로는
Well,
프로토스는
I
피하고
do
싶고
want to avoid playing against
김성현
Protoss.
선수나
Maybe last.
성대랑
Maybe
만나면은
action.
좀 더 편하게 준비할
I
수
think
있어요.
I'll be able to play more comfortably.
테란이나 좀 저그를 만나고 싶다는 마음을
said that you wanted to go up against a
밝혀주셨는데
Terran or
연습
Zerg.
과정도 쉽지 않았을 거고 오늘
And I
경기
guess
내용도
it was
쉽지
hard for you
않으셨을
to
것
prepare.
같습니다. 가족들도 팬들도 정말
And
묵묵하게 응원을
I think it's time
해주셨는데요.
to send
감사의
your
인사
message
전해주시죠.
to your fans and your family.
네, 그 최근에 제가 개인 방송도
Recently,
쉬면서
I've
연습을
kind of stopped
했는데
streaming. I've practiced a lot,
걱정해주신 팬분들이랑
and there were a lot of fans worrying about me.
감사
I
응원해주셔서
really
감사하고,
appreciate it. I'm really grateful.
응원해주는 가족들이랑
And
친구들이랑
thank you
다
to my
너무
friends,
고맙고
my family for
연습
cheering me.
도와준 지성이, 영재,
And thanks
현재,
to JYJ
범수,
and Mini and
다
everyone else for
너무
helping me
고맙고
in the scrims.
8강에서도 이제
And
잘
I'll try to show good
Okay.
performance in the round of 8.
네, 이혜훈 선수의 도전 끝까지 응원하도록 하겠습니다. 다시 한번
And that's
진출
the end of the
축하드립니다.
interview. Thank you.
자, 이렇게 해서
Don't go
ASL 시즌
anywhere.
8의 마지막 8강
That's
진출자
right.
이혜훈 선수와
We're gonna do
함께했습니다.
that selection and see who's playing who in the round of 8.
Ready your psychological ankle bracelets. We're going to the group selection.
Yes, Flash and Saxery go ahead and advance here tonight. I don't think it's a huge surprise. Saxery is still upcoming very strongly. Soulkey, the greatest Zerg in the world right now, a recent champion of KSL last year. will be going to the military in 2 days. So, adios for a bit. I guess we'll see him again in 18 to 24 months.
Okay. Now, you know, we're getting closer and closer to the end here, but I'm so excited to see who plays who. For this group selection.
The brackets are such a gigantic thing. Sometimes the brackets get drawn and you're like, oh, I know who's getting to the finals on that side. And then you have a side that's killer. Sometimes it's really evenly balanced. Obviously, the big question is, where does Flash end up here? Like, for instance, do Flash and Rain go on the same side? Because if we have a Flash Rain finals, now that, my friend, is a finals that you want to see. Oh my God.
I'll take that. Now, who is the player that's most likely to be able to beat Flash?
Is that Rain? Seeds in the round of 8, it's Snow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. What am I saying? Of course. Yeah.
He would be the favorite in the round of 8 because he's a second place seed. But yeah, I think it's Protoss players you're looking at. I think Last has some chance, and I think that Rain and Snow have some
ASL
chance.
시즌 8 8강 대진 추첨으로 다시 한번 인사드립니다.
Okay.
자, 본격적인 추첨에 앞서서
first place seeds
현재
first.
진출한 선수들의
And I assume
현황부터
that's
살펴보겠습니다.
the random guess. Blue balls.
자, 각조 1위로
See if I'm
진출한
right.
김성현 선수와 김성대 선수 그리고
Who we
정윤준
have right now?
선수와 이영우
So
선수가
first place
현재
has to play against second
위치에
place.
있고요.
You
2위로
cannot
진출한
play the
선수는
person that was
조기석
in your group
이재호
either.
선수, 장윤철
Would just
선수와
redraw at that
그리고
point.
So
오늘의
there is the
마지막
possibility that
진출자
after
이혜영
like
선수까지
3 or 4
올라와
draws, we just know
있습니다.
exactly where everybody
자,
ends
계속해서
up.
Yeah, a lot of
추첨
times,
방식을 간략하게
you'll
설명해
just
드리도록
kind of see the
하겠습니다.
bracket set
16강에서
itself out
각조
because
1위를
there will
차지한
only be one
4명의
way that
선수를
all
먼저
the rules can
A,
be
B,
met.
C, D조에 각각
So,
위치시키고요.
yeah,
계속해서 2위
looking at
진출
this,
선수를 추첨해서
I mean,
대진을 완성시킬
the
텐데요.
champion of this
모든
tournament
8강 대진은 각조 1위 진출자와
is
2위
almost
진출자가
99%
만나게
like
됩니다.
Last Rain or
하지만
Flash.
16강에서 같은
Those are
조에 위치했던
three.
선수들은
Now that
8강에서
Sulky's going to the
바로 다시
military,
만나게
those are the
됩니다.
3 best
만약
players in the
추첨을
world.
통해
My boy
16강에
Action
같은 조에 있었던
might take
선수들이
this time. He
8강에
keeps
다시
doing
만나는
so well.
대진이 완성됐을 경우에는
I really
재추첨을
appreciate what you're saying,
진행하도록 하겠습니다.
and I'll
자,
defend
그럼
to the
여러분이
death your
기다리시는
right to say it.
8강 대진 추첨을 지금
But
바로 진행해 보도록
There
하겠습니다.
is
자,
not
먼저
one
각조 1위로
iota of a
진출한
chance in hell
선수들을
that Action is winning this
추첨하겠습니다.
Action's taking the whole thing, guys. You
자,
watch.
8강
Right, I was wrong.
A조에
It was the
위치할
red balls.
선수는요.
You thought that blue was for first place? Yeah, the Blue Ranger led the Power Rangers, didn't he, Tasteless?
I thought he did.
자,
Last.
김성현 선수가
Dun, dun.
8강
Now this
A조에
is huge. Does
위치하면서
Rain or Flash
16강에
go on that
이어서
side?
8강에서도 가장 먼저 경기를
Like,
치르게 됐습니다.
again, those are the
자,
3
계속해서
players that you really
8강
look at as
B조에 위치할
possibilities to win this
선수를
tournament. They're 3 the
추첨하도록
only people who
하겠습니다.
have won tournaments.
Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. Doot, doot.
Oh my god, my heart is beating so fast. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? It's Rain?
No, it's
자,
Action.
B조에
Oh my
위치할
god.
선수는요. 현재 가장
Ooh, the guy who's gonna win the whole
강력한
tournament.
격으로 이끌어지고 있는 김성대 선수가
All right, so
추첨됐습니다.
that means that Flash and Rain are on the
자,
same side of the
계속해서
bracket.
C조에 위치할 16강 1위 진출자 선수를 추첨하겠습니다.
I just can't wait to see this, Stasis.
I really like the part where the hand goes in and moves around and makes like one of the
자,
balls move.
오늘
And we
가장
kind of get
먼저
it.
8강에 진출한
Yeah.
이용호 선수가 8강
Flash
C조의
Flash.
자리에 위치하게 됐습니다.
짠짠짠.
자, 이렇게 되면 8강의
We'll be
가장
facing
마지막
Action in the finals. Wow.
B조에 위치할 선수는요.
I mean, I would love that finals. I think it would be
프로토스
great.
정윤종 선수가
Rain, I didn't see
되겠습니다.
that one as the 4th one, but okay.
자, 그럼 본격적으로 8강의 대진을 완성시킬
You're on point right
16강
now.
Yeah, thank you.
2위 진출자
Okay,
선수를
so-
추첨하도록 하겠습니다.
Out of these second place picks, if she draws
자,
Sharp, we have to
김성현
redraw
선수와
because
만나게
Sharp
될
and Last already
선수는요.
played. No! Last round.
A scroll. What does it say?
Snow!
장윤철
Now that's
선수가
a sick
Snow,
match.
my God.
됐네요.
Last
자,
for
이로써
Snow.
장윤철 선수는 이영호 선수를
God.
피할 수 있게 됐고요.
Snow MG.
자, 8강 A조의 첫 번째 대진은
Alright,
김성현
well,
선수와
sorry, Last.
장윤철 선수의 대진으로
That's going to be a
완성됐습니다.
nice match.
Yeah.
자, 계속해서 B조에
Yeah.
위치할 선수를 추첨하겠습니다.
All right, who does
Comes up,
Action
it's
get?
Larva. I'm like, oh, this is
자,
crazy.
김성대 선수와 경기를 치르게 될 선수죠.
It is. It's red. Spoiler, it's red.
자,
Sharp.
16강 A조에서 2위로 진출한 조기석 선수가
That's a cool
바로
match right there, Action Sharp.
김성대 선수와
I like it.
B조에서
So that side of the
8강
bracket,
경기를
like,
치르게
I
됐습니다.
mean, Snow can make the upset, but I think Last
자,
probably
대망의
favored over there. Well, without a doubt, last
C조
favorite.
이영호 선수와 8강 경기를
that's a
치르게 될
strong set of
선수
players.
추첨하겠습니다.
Now over on this side, we already know how this is going to go. Saxry has to play Rain, which means that Light will play Flash, and we're going to get to see Flash's TVT.
We go through the motions anyways for the
자,
sake of
이혜훈
transparency.
선수가 추첨이 되는데요.
It says Cyril, how can that be?
진행하겠고요.
Oh God, I wish that Sarah and
자,
Flash.
이렇게 되면
Cyril just comes out from the ground.
이영호
WWE
선수와의
style.
대진은 자동적으로 이영호
taking the
선수와
ASL down.
이재호 선수의 태태전
All right,
대진이
Light versus
완성됐습니다.
Flash.
자, 이렇게 되면
Flashlight.
C조 마지막에 위치한 선수는 자동으로
All that comedy improv school stuff really
이혜훈
paid off,
선수가
Artosis.
되겠습니다.
Hey, Taste is what you need in the
이렇게
dark.
해서 8강의 대진
How
추첨을
about
모두 마무리해 봤는데요.
match
대진
3
상황
of the round of 8?
I'm like, do you need action sharp? Am I doing it right?
Oh man. All right. So we have Last versus Snow. That's probably the best match in that round.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
That's a great match.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, that'll be this Sunday even.
Sunday.
I'm not even
Sunday,
ready,
Sunday.
Tasteless.
I'm ready. Let's do it. I'd cast it right now if I could. Cannot wait.
Yeah,
I think Snow's going to take that, man.
He could.
I think we've got a real
His
shot of a
PBT
Snow
is really,
Flash final.
Dude, remember Last versus Mini in that ASL finals though? Like Last TVP, it's God tier.
Yeah, but what about Snow's Reavers? Okay, apology accepted. Action versus Sharp. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm going to call this out. I think Action actually could just go all the way to the finals. I think I've seen him beat enough people over the last year and a half, 2 years, where I'm just now going to put him as a top 4 player in the
world. I could see him getting the finals. I can't see him winning the finals, but like Sharp is not undoable for him. Both of them are just like, this is a good matchup.
I think
Action
if he
Sharp is a good
gets to the
matchup.
finals and doesn't win, it's because of a lack of experience. But at this point in time, he's proven that he can kind of beat anybody.
Except Flash.
Flash versus Light.
Like, Light is so good and mechanically just below Flash.
Yep.
But the amount that, like, Flash is better in tournaments can't really, like Light is a two-dimensional being in tournaments. He's a piece of paper that Flash can just rip in half, I think.
Wow, and Flash is a 4-dimensional being.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know how to get to the second dimension.
No,
It
he
confuses him that Light doesn't know how to play tournaments as well as he does.
Yeah, I don't know what Light can do to win there. Flash is looking...
It's hard.
It's so profoundly good and so unstoppable the longer the game goes on, and he never dies early, so like, how do you stop that?
His TBT is silly, too. It's really another level.
And this is going to be a really fun one. I think Rain wins here.
Yeah,
but
this is the match Saxry didn't want. He was specifically saying, please no.
And I'll tell you what, assuming that everything, I think that the right side of the bracket is pretty easy to predict, right? We should be having Rain versus Flash. I'll tell you, man, Rain might be able to take Flash. And if there's anybody who could do it,
that match is going to be the real good
Rain
one.
is looking untouchable, and he knows how to prep. So I cannot wait for that.
And there's the interesting side stories too, because let's say that Rain beats Flash to go to the finals. What if Last makes it to the finals? Last has Rain's absolute peak PBT to look at and study.
Sure.
Vice versa, right? With the Snow Last match, like Last can't hold anything back. So, like whoever gets out, we have the possibility of a finals where one or both of the guys saw everything the other guy had.
So, this is what the final round of 8 is going to look like. We're on the normal schedule. It's Sunday and Tuesday at 7 p.m. KST. Mark it down. Be there or be square.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Again, very curious to see who wins in last Snow.
That left side of the bracket, like it looks just slightly weaker than the other side because obviously Rain and Flash. But the matches on it are so good. Like even Action Sharp is really good. And then if Snow beats Last, I can definitely see Action going to the finals. Yeah, it's a real possibility.
Again, that's going to be on Sunday. We're having a small break here on GSL, but that'll be coming back eventually. I think we'll have that announced soon. But
yeah, GSL versus the World first, and then we'll get back to our other stuff.
So for now, if you're used to watching us, it's just going to be ASL for a little bit. So we'll have about 4 days off, and then we'll go right into that really cool match. I'm actually most excited about that.
Snow versus Last.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think Action Sharp is going to be a very good one as well.
That might end up being the best, but I'm very curious to see how
evenly
Snow's going
matched.
to look. Because, again, Snow might be the player who can actually beat Flash. Flash was mentioning he wants to have a match against Snow again. And I think there's a high chance Snow can take it. Snow, oh, man, but, if Action wins there, can Snow actually beat Action? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that becomes a very interesting match.
Yeah.
I think that Last versus Action is very Last favored. Very Last favored, in my
Sure.
opinion. I think his TVZ is.
A lot of different possible finals here.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Flash in it and maybe Rain.
Yeah.
Probably Flash.
No, that's how it goes.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. We'll be back to the normal best of fives that we've always had. I know there was round of 16 might have looked a little bit weird with the 2 best of ones and the 3 best of threes. We're going to be back to the normal format when we return on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. Just best of 5s from here on out, and that's going to be amazing. I believe our finals this season is going to be a best of 7, though.
Yes, I think you're right. That's all the time we have, guys. We love you. We'll see you on Sunday. Good night. Good morning. Goodbye.
I just wanna feel good, wanna feel special.